Hi, how are you today? I am thinking about creating some type of buffer to start the live streams before I begin speaking on them because every live stream I start, y'all might see me like not speaking at the beginning for a few seconds or something, or like kind of paused, or I don't know. But it's because on my end, there's always like this delay where like I will click to start the live stream, and then there will be some time before it shows me that I'm live. So in my head, I don't think I'm live yet. But then when I go back and look, it just looks like I'm live but not speaking yet sometimes, I think. Or am I wrong? Or like I feel that. I don't know. Okay, but so today we're gonna be talking about just like a few different things. So we're gonna follow up on last night's live stream. I had talked specifically about why I thought it was a good time for Santina to start a business. And so because of that, I do think I'm gonna leave the title as it is, where it says when to start a business. But today I'm gonna follow up a bit more on general reasons of when I think could be a good time for someone to start a business, as well as what from these general reasons, we'll discuss how that applied to um, how I feel Santina's role. And we're also going to then discuss, before that, we'll be looking over three different links that I found about Santina. One is a Reddit thread, one is an article that came out right after the exit occurred, and a third one is an interview she did a couple of months ago. So, yeah. The Reddit thread and the initial article are both 4 months old, so you probably may have seen those already, or it just might not be new to you. But the LinkedIn article from 2 months ago, that might be new to you. Who knows if you haven't checked in, you know? And so we're gonna look at that. And then when I was looking for that, I decided not to link or show her LinkedIn profile. Because I mean, I feel like anyone could just go Google that if they did want to anyway. But like like some privacy reasons, just because in case she ever does decide to private that way it's not on the video here for this. But fucking only because I see that, because with the amount of following she has, I say that she's already been susceptible, is that right, to a lot of people commenting towards her. And I feel like if someone does something and I'm like, damn, that's really unethical, I'm gonna be like, fuck it, I'm gonna show their fucking page, fuck it. Especially if I don't think I have enough followers to worry about people not listening to me and things like that. When I'd be like, don't go bother people. I feel like the people that engage with me are more value aligned with me. But I feel like nothing's gonna go back on them, and that way, when it's just discussing what the fuck they did or said in a way, and who they are in context. But in this case, because we've already looked at the amount of shit going her way, okay, I don't know why I'm spiraling on that, but yeah, fucking because I feel like, well, on LinkedIn profiles, people just have a bit more information that can make it easier to find, specifically who they are, right? Um, that's where I'm going, I think. Anyway, but fucking I realized from her LinkedIn profile, all that to say, sorry I'm like this, that fucking she actually does have a business. So I'm over here talking about, oh, she should start a business. She technically does. She has an LLC, according to her LinkedIn profile. And so, correction there, she's got an LLC. So when I'm talking about like, oh, she should, so really I should be reframing that for why I think it's a good time for her to focus on her business development and not worry about the client that went away a couple months ago, because that happens in business, ebbs and flows. So that's where, I think I need to redirect that too as well. And I should probably issue like a little correction in the description of that other live stream. So I'm gonna go do that as well after this one. Um, so yeah, fucking, she does have a business already, but I still think, you know, uh, the context of the situation is still a good case study for if it would be a good time to start a business if you were someone like her, if she had it already, for example, right? But well, now I still feel that everything that I've said can still apply and hold true with the narrative and position of she should just focus on her business. You know what I mean? And lead generation and lead development. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna roll my intro. We're gonna get into, oh shit, did I mention the other thing? Sorry, I'm like this. I forgot if I mentioned this part or not. So in this New Orleans service industry group that I'm in, there's been debates about the concept of whether or not guests should get water for free. So I figured we could look at those posts first to start, just to kind of have a little bit of shit talking to start our day. I don't know, a little bit back and forth. Look at the drama, the what people are saying online about this. So yeah, all right, let's do this, bitch. Hi, my name is Lexi, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. So, I added this to my New Orleans events playlist because I feel this is related to the user experience and the guest experience and the customer service flow you could potentially be expecting at New Orleans events if you're out here in public and just going out in general, because this is from the New Orleans Service and Hospitality Industry Group. Um, and so, yeah. So, the first post I saw on this issue that came up in my newsfeed was from an anonymous participant in New Orleans service and hospitality industry. And it was basically saying, the description of the post said, how many service industry workers want a customer who demands free water, demands to speak to a manager, and then posts online about it? And then it shows a screenshot of a comment from, I can't pronounce this, but I'm going to guess it's something like Leah Kalisiakos. Sounds Greek to me. Uh, and it was tagging someone named April Miller, and it says they specifically do not give out water during the red dress run in order to drive sales of bottled water. The fucking manager slash cunt in charge explained it to me. Fuck them. Now, in New Orleans right now, there is a boil water advisory, and so people aren't giving out tap water for that reason, and that can happen. I did Google and I could not find any laws requiring water to be given. Ethically, do I believe water should be given? Yes. Did I always give people water? Yes. I don't give a fuck if you tip me or not. When like I am, for context, I myself have 10 years experience being a barista, being a bar back, being a server, um, and a hostess. Um, and I like to do latte art. So yeah, um, I have a food and beverage playlist on my profile, and I show my some of my latte art on there, I think. But I mean, it's not the best, but it's like it's about the service, it's the thought. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the love that goes into it, right? Um, but yeah, so I understand like living off of tips, right? I really do, but it's it's really hot. It's August. It's New Orleans. People are drinking. I feel if you are a bar, in my opinion, if I'm serving anybody alcohol, I feel morally obligated to make sure that they are drinking water and to make sure that they have a water in between every drink I serve them. I don't give a fuck. Suck my fucking dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am that fucking person when I'm serving alcohol because I am a recovering alcoholic. Because I do understand the way that alcohol impacts the brain and how people make poor choices when they're impaired. And you can't, like, force someone to do it. You have to engage in a conversation to kind of persuade them that they should be drinking water in between drinks because, and sometimes what I do is I force it by waiting to put their drink water in. And so what I'll do is be like, I gotta do X, Y, and Z, so here's some water while you wait. I can understand where that's a little bit difficult where you're a bartender and you just have people coming up to you and they're not with you in that experience, so you don't know what they're doing. You can't monitor their intake. You can't control their life. You can't sit there, you know what I mean? But on a certain level, I think that you have to be able to recognize that because these are people who are out and about in this city drinking, if you are yourself someone in a possession to give water and you know these are people out there intoxicating themselves, I do believe it's like an ethical duty to make sure that they are hydrated. In my opinion, to do your best. You know what I'm saying? I do believe so. Because if you are not worried about making sure that the people in your vicinity when you're serving alcohol, whether or not you've given them alcohol directly or someone else has, are consuming alcohol safely, I kind of don't trust you as a bartender if you're not at least concerned. I understand that as a human being, human condition, we can't do everything. I don't think bartenders should be blamed for the decisions of individuals, but I do think that anyone serving alcohol, a bartender, a server, a barista, because sometimes baristas serve alcohol too, anybody serving alcohol, drink runner, food runner, I've been a food runner, um, we have a moral and ethical duty to do the best we can with making sure that the people around us are safe. And I do think that includes giving out free water, in my opinion. So that's, I must be reading comments from here on out. So I just wanted to get that out there. Okay. So, one person said, maybe a hot take, but water should be free in August in New Orleans. Another person said, I guarantee 99% of bars will give you water if you buy anything. Someone said, you shouldn't have to when it's 100 degrees outside and the city doesn't do anything to help. It's called human decency. Another person said someone who does not work in the service industry in the summer in New Orleans. And another person said, and who are you? LOL, you have no ounce of knowledge to what you speak of. LOL. Someone else said, I genuinely didn't expect it to be such a hot take, to be honest. I genuinely thought that there would be more compassion and human decency. Fuck me. Another person said, yeah, but also specifically during Red Dress Run, those people are acting like anything but decent, especially to bartenders and servers. So I agree, water should be free. They also knew it was going to be hot and can bring a water bottle themselves. Also, water isn't free, the company pays for it. So really, the city should be providing water for people when it's hot, not private businesses that lose money when the person doesn't even buy anything. I don't know. I see both sides, but also fuck Red Dress Run and the disrespect people that come with it. I don't know, something like that. I can't read or speak or something. But fucking that person said 100% during Red Dress On. I get it. People are horrid and should know better to bring water with them. I've seen plenty of places that offer it as a courtesy, but also 100% the business totally pays for it, even though the city should be setting up hydration stations better for sure. Another person said, we're not your mother. We don't babysit. Bring your own water like an adult if you don't want to buy anything from a local business. Another person says, cool, that's your option. I believe in human decency and helping people. I think they meant opinion, they typed option. And I think this other person meant weird, but they did type the word. I can be, I don't know if lazy is an ableist word or not, but I can be lazy, I guess, for myself when it comes to not using punctuation and typing. Like, fuck that shit. Just type it if I skip it. I can get that, but just I'm reading what they typed right now. All right. So anyway, then they said someone else said, please do some reflection on why you value your boss's profit over the health and safety of a fellow human. Yeah, not coming prepared should be punishable by heat stroke. Absolutely. Another person said you value $1 over not getting heat stroke. Well, that's on you. Another person said no thanks. He'd probably complain too much. Another person said, in the day I'd give ice water to everyone. They tipped me $1 because etiquette, and because of that etiquette, I'd refill it. Yes, I used to work with Amanda. She is awesome. Amanda and I worked together at Comparler Pen. I was a barista. She was a server. We were the fucking shit together. Okay, you know what? Yes, she's the fucking shit. Amanda is awesome. And also, if anybody is watching this, Amanda is dealing with she's battling cancer right now. She's got a GoFundMe. And you know what I'm gonna do when this live stream ends? I'm gonna go get that GoFundMe link and link it in the description of this video. So if you could please donate to Amanda's GoFundMe, that would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much. She's fucking amazing. Okay, she's going through a lot. She's incredible, and she cares about human decency. She doesn't. I mean, she's like, yeah, grateful for the dollar, but she would give you a water even if you didn't fucking give her money, if you had nothing to give, just because she wants to make sure other people are okay. That's the type of person she is. Okay, anyway, Amanda is amazing. I love you. Love you, Amanda. You're my bitch. Yes, you're not a bitch. You know what I mean? I'm sorry I said that. Is that okay for me to say? I don't know. All right, working on me. Okay, fucking Lauren Nash said, does Leah understand that Red Dress Run is held on the streets, like outside? Like, you could bring your own water bottle? Shit, bring your own cooler. Perry Shaw said, when you actually register for Red Dress Run, there are plenty of stops for water and people handing out water along the trail. He said, April, did you post this anonymous? You're right. Fuck those bastards that walk in, want everything free, and put up with them. Somebody else said, oh, sorry, she just harassed the bartender and then asked to speak to the manager. Um, And that was what the screenshot that said, for the record, I didn't ask to speak to anyone. She chased me down after I told the bartender to fuck off. I didn't care in anything. Um, and then another person said, that post was wild with the comments. Fuck you and whatever vibes you felt like. Another person said, CIC. I don't even know what CIC means. So, the concept of someone telling the bartender to fuck off. Okay, more to the story here. I don't know what happened with the story. So, I am not commenting on whether or not I agree with, like, the specific scenario of whatever happened with, like, the Leah situation. I'm only talking about my general concepts of should water be free. But when it comes to this specific scenario, my thoughts on that, or that I've only spoken so far on whether or not water should be free. Now I'm about to speak on what are my thoughts on so far on what I know in this situation right here. Um, I don't feel like I have enough information to form a true opinion because I would have had to have been there and seen what happened. And here's what I mean. Like, as someone in the service industry, right? I have um I have been treated like shit by customers for no fucking reason. I had one dude yell at me. So I had a regular that came in PJs every fucking day. He brought his own cup. He came in every single day, and I would always charge him for a small granita because he brought his own cup. And and like, yeah, I don't know. I just, cause like, fuck it. Like, I would just charge him a small granita. I don't think the cup was bigger than 16 ounces. The small would have technically been 12, but so I think I gave him 4 ounces for free. You know what I'm saying? Hey, fucking, however, he came in every single day. Um, and he spent, and we always had leftover granita. And they would reuse the granita, and milk expires. So at a certain point, we'd have to toss it, right? And so we always had overflow on granita. So when we had regulars like that who came every day, you know, I might do a little something, something like that, where I'm like, here's a little extra, like on something that I know we're just gonna get rid of. Um, And it wouldn't be a situation of, well, if you weren't giving it away, they wouldn't be making that much. It would be a situation of, I would be like, yeah, dude, we're making too much shit. We don't need to make this much. And they'd be like yelling at me for not making more if I didn't make it. So I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm making this shit, but I don't think we should. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Um, because they wouldn't, because if you did get a rush, they would rather have it and not need it than if you get a rush and not have it and have needed it or whatever. But whatever. I guess we people operate differently. But anyway, so fucking all of that to say, like, I totally like this dude. So back to this story, this separate person came to meet this dude one day, and she ordered a uh, uh, I think I forgot what she ordered. She ordered a granita. I charged her the regular price, and um, he comes yelling at me that she paid more for her granita than he did. I think she got a large one. I charged her a large, and or she got a large or a medium, and I charged her the price. And I was just like, okay, she ordered, I pulled up the receipt and I made sure she got, and I was like, this is what she ordered and this is what I gave her. And he was like telling me that I was a stupid dumb bitch and shit for charging her more than him. And I was explaining to him, I've been hooking you up this entire time. I was giving you free granita. Best believe I charged him full price ever since. After that, he no longer got, you know, a discount from me because he of how bad he treated me. He did realize. He profusely apologized after, but just that being his initial reaction, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna charge you full price now. You know what I'm saying? Um, that happened. That was a thing. Fucking so, and that's not the only time I've been treated bad. It's just like one of the first things I think of. Um, when it comes to like the service industry, like I know how fucked up customers can be. I dealt with them for years, you know, and I'm saying I had 10 years experience because I had a job since I was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was working as a freshman in high school. Okay, I used to work at Uniforms by Cajun on veterans. Um, so in Metairie, in around New York, Greater New Orleans area, Louisiana. Fucking so I'm just saying that I understand all day. But then I also understand the customer side. I've gone to places, particularly like I when it's Red Dress Run and there's so many people, like big events like that in New Orleans, when there's so many people that they're gonna make their money no matter what. They're overworked and they just don't give a fuck. I have been places where I've seen service industry treat everyone like absolute shit. Totally not trying to like I can understand what it's like when you've been dealing with such a certain level of things, you get overstimulated and then you break at work or something. But I've been places where, you know, like it was just like, wow, I can't believe that they act this way, you know? Um, and I'll give, and a lot of the situations too, I feel, it's just like there's just no reason, you know, the first one that comes to mind is a very triggering concept. So trigger warning right now for like the next few minutes, sexual assault here. The first thing that comes to mind was when I was sexually assaulted. What happened after that at the bar, you know? Um, and so I've seen I've seen things happen in this industry in New Orleans where the people working here care more about partying, care more about money, care more about getting fucked up than taking care of each other as humans. So I understand that too, and I can't tell which has happened here, where it leans, or if it's a mix of both. Because I wasn't there. So that's where I'm at. All of that to say my reason I feel I can't form a true opinion on this because I wasn't there. Maybe in the next post we see we'll get more information here. Um, but from what I know at this point from this post, I don't have enough information to know who was in the right or wrong. I can only tell you how I feel about the concept of should people be given free water, and I believe they should. Now, do I also believe bartenders and service industry people should have the right to refuse service to anyone? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Not based on discrimination though. Like based on how you're treated based on safety. So if a bartender was told to fuck off and they didn't perceive a reason to have been told to fuck off like that, like, even if, say the company had a policy where they did not do free water, or say they weren't doing free water right now because of the red dress run, or say the bartender wasn't doing free water, a lot of times when we don't do free water at the bar, it's because we have a water station and they can go get the water themselves and we point them to the water station. So it's not that you're not getting water, we're just not giving it to them. They can still go get it. You know what I'm saying? Um, that has been at a lot of places that I've worked. We had water stations, like the Vintage. And even at Compare La Pen, we'd set up water stations for bigger events over on the barista side. We just do, you know what I'm saying? Like we put, I don't know what they're called. It's not like a bucket, but it's like a pretty bucket, with a spout. Like what are those called? I don't know. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like those big thingies, and they have the little spouty spout. I can't use my words, but yeah, fucking that's very common in New Orleans when there's big events like that. If you go somewhere, look for those. Um, so yeah, it looks like that's all that was said. Oh, we're on top comments. Let me check. Oh, this is still okay. Let's check all comments just to make sure. It looks like there we didn't miss anything. Um, okay, I think that was it. Oh no, she said, bring your own cooler. Leah said, I literally did. I couldn't find a place to refill it. And then someone else said, well, I understand your sentiment reading your first post. Your comments have been atrocious. Please don't be a part of this group if you're going to tell a bartender to fuck up. You may not belong here. And yes, I do think water should be free, but I would simply move along to the next place and ask and not harass a fellow service industry person. Okay, I can see that. Okay. Because like if someone was just like, yeah, we don't do free water here, and you said fuck off, that's wrong in my opinion. Even if I agree with them not giving free water and I think that's inhumane, I would agree with you telling them that's inhumane. I agree with that. But telling them fuck off when they're at work is different because of the power dynamics at play there. You know what I'm saying? um there's a difference between you having an opinion as a person, having a user experience and being like it's inhumane not to offer free water. That I agree with. But telling someone to fuck off because they're not giving you what you want isn't going to get you what you want. You know what I'm saying? And when they're at work and they're dealing with all this shit, it's just kind of like I haven't processed the specific issue here. I need to process it more, but there's just I need to process. There's something here that's bugging me with that concept. That's like not cool. If went down like that, like, because I know they said it in the comment, but I feel like just the way this person is discussing it is like the difference between how this Kim person discussed it versus how this other screenshot I had seen. Where was it? Right here. Okay. I think just like the fact that she clarified she thinks water should be free made me pay more attention to it. Because in my head, when people are arguing about the concept of if water should be free or not, I just feel like I get more closed off, I think, with what happened to me there. But I do agree with this person, that this anonymous participant, in regards to it is harassment to the bartender to be telling like a bartender to fuck off, like because of here it is. That's what I'm processing now. The boundaries. You can leave, the bartender can't. I mean, in a way, I guess freedom of choice they can't, but due to oppression and capitalism and needing to make a living, if they leave, they jeopardize their income and their ability to make a living. And that's what the power dynamics at play here are. As like in general, if this was like if you were at person A's house and you were like, "Can I have some water?" and person A was like, "No," and you told person A to fuck off, I would still think maybe you're a bitch, but I wouldn't think that you are harassing them necessarily. Unless you I would just think you were being a bitch unless you continue to violate their boundary in their space. Because to me, there's a difference between insulting someone and harassing someone. With harassment, in my opinion, like I know technically the definition of harassment is like any form of unwanted contact, but for in my opinion, when you have like these boundaries set and when you're at your own house, you can get that bitch out of your house. You know what I'm saying? If they keep harassing you and calling back, maybe that is a thing. But someone telling you fuck off one time, in my opinion, isn't a continual pattern of harassment. Versus someone, that's a 101 problem. Versus, in my opinion, someone feeling entitled to go to bartenders to tell them fuck off for not doing what she wants when they want, in my opinion, feels like a normalization of a social standard for how service industry workers are treated. And I think that's the difference for me. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, but that's kind of what I'm processing right now, I think. Maybe I'll process something different about that thought later, but that's where I'm at right now. All right. So then Leah responded to Kim saying, "I appreciate the eloquent way you have made that sentiment. I'm not here to please or appease any of you fuckers." And that's where it's just like, yeah, why are you in this group then? Why are you in a service industry group if you don't care about service industry workers, right? And if the way she's talking to people, like this person wasn't rude to her at all. She was just saying, "This is why I don't like that you said," basically. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, um, and so what the fuck is this per like what? God damn. And so yeah, one person said was telling Kim they left for this comment. Kim said that's totally fine. All in all, kindness goes a long way. And I do hope you found an establishment to fill your bottle for you, fucker. And somebody else says, so why should anybody please or appease your nasty self? You're a real piece of work. Bless your heart. Another person said, you do realize water itself is not free, right? People pay water bills. Hundreds of people attend this event yearly. If business owners gave out that much free water, their bills should be sky high. Counterproductive from a business standpoint when you're trying to make money. Okay, yeah, but when you look at the return on investment that bars get on alcohol, you can really suck my dick with that shit. And in my opinion, the cost of offering water should be included in your business model. And if it's not, you shouldn't blame customers for you not building your business in a sustainable way. You know what I'm saying? Um, in my opinion, you shouldn't be serving alcohol without budgeting for also hydrating people with the alcohol consumption that you're selling. Um, and if you're not having high sales in the French Quarter during Red Dress Run, that really does speak to an issue with you, and you should get with a marketing agency for help. It doesn't have to be someone like me because I know a lot of people don't like the way I talk, but um, get with someone you trust. That's what marketing agencies are for. Find value alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you don't. Whenever, okay, it's like if someone came to me and they said, Lexi, I need help writing copy for my ad. And instead of giving them free resources, I just said fuck you because you're not paying me. Do you think I'm going to get a sale from them? Do you think if they go tell other people about me, that other people are going to come buy from me? You know what I'm saying? It's labor for I pay for the services. It's labor for me to write for you. I have to pay for my computer, my internet bill. I have to pay for electricity. I have to pay for my rent. I have to pay for my time spent using the resources I have to provide a product to you. Right? But a lot of people ask me to do things for them for free. Um, and there was a time I was feeling petty, and I made it was like a 6 part free advice one sheet thing. I don't know what the fuck I called it or did, but no, items number 1 and number 6 said go hire a marketing agency, pay a marketing agency, and that was my free advice. But then 2 through 5 were really helpful. You know what I'm saying? Um, I did do that. Like I've done that, but one person said, I just feel like people saying like oh water water. I've worked in the service industry long enough at places that have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of covers in a shift. You know what I'm saying? To where I know how it goes. People don't hydrate. Not enough people are going to come ask you for water to where you're really running up the water bill like that. You're not running up the water bill for giving people water any more than you're really running up the water bill for the dishes you're going to have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like that is just ridiculous to me. I swear to God, I maybe get 1 or 2 out of 100 people when I have covers that would ask me for water, even in the hottest part. I would be begging people to drink water. Even when I was a server, people would come and I'd be bringing them ice water or water when I greet them. And no one's fucking drinking the damn water. I swear to God, no one drinks. No, like, they just want it, like, so this whole idea of, oh, we're costing the businesses money. I'm like, okay, bootlicker, suck my fucking dick. Are you shitting me? Is that what you say when people ask you for water at your house? Do you offer people do you offer visitors water when they visit you at home? Or are you like, nah, that costs me money? That's just so greedy. And there's just this level of, you know, there's like in different cultures, you have give and take, give and take. You don't do the whole, what can you do for me? Greed, greed, greed. Me. And that's where this is. It's the battle of the me, and not the we. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making any sense, or maybe I am. Fucking, yeah. I was like, this is gonna be a quick live stream. I've spent 40 minutes on this one damn post. Oops. What happened was, did I mention how great your hair looks today? So, fucking, another person said, my point is her cheap ass refused to buy anything, got belligerent enough with the bartender to warrant the manager's attention, and then proceeds to call out the establishments like they are the problem. I do disagree with the whole this comment kind of parts of this commentary. Like, if the things went down as said, I do agree that perhaps she could be in the wrong with how she treated the bartender, right? But I still disagree with the concept of should water be free. Absolutely, especially if you're serving alcohol. And calling someone a cheap ass to me just screams classism. So you're over here berating someone for classism in the service worker while perpetuating the same. You know what I'm saying? And here's this other thing. I'm so tired of people being like, "Oh, you need to buy things from the bar in order to you know, like that's like I'm a recovering alcoholic. I want to go to the bar to be with my friends sometimes, I don't want to drink anything. I just want some fucking water, but I still want to be with my friends. Okay? They're drinking. They're ordering shit. Why can't I just get some goddamn water? Fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't go talk to the bartenders like that though. I always ask like, "Hi, can I get some water, please?" Like, "May I have some water, please?" Like, I always say, "Please, thank you." Like, I'm very like, I and when I buy things, like I tip 30% is my default. Tipping 30%. Like, if I really didn't like the service, but you didn't necessarily do anything wrong, just like if I don't dislike you, but I dislike your service in terms of like I think you're like really slow or um like that not like ableist slow mentally. I'm talking about like I'm literally like sitting there like waiting 30 minutes to get greeted type thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not busy type thing. Then I might tip 15 or 20% depending on how much, like if I'm not receiving service, I might tip 15 or 20%. So it's not the 30%, but I'm still like not gonna be like, well, you're still gonna, I'm making sure you get that income because I don't believe in like the whole, well, now you don't deserve to make a living thing. Like I still think you should pay your rent, but I'm not going to go tip the 30% if I'm not getting the service, right? But then if it's like you have to really do something really fucked up for me to tip you nothing. Like you have to sit there and like be racist with to someone I'm with or something, or like like be discriminate. Like I've had people make fun of me for the way I speak. How like y'all notice I stutter sometimes, or I have the language disfluency where I will repeat things kind of because I'm processing as I'm speaking, and it can be hard for me. And I also have a lisp. People make fun of me for that. People have my whole fucking life. And so fucking, I've had people do that when I try to order from them. And yeah. So fucking I didn't tip that person because you're not about to make fun of my speech and then to my face. I was like, are you kidding me? I looked at my fucking friend. I was like, did that just happen? And they were like, yeah, it did. And we fucking like, I don't know. I was at that age where I was still really submissive. I kind of wish I went off. But anyway, so every now and then I feel like just because someone is be in the service industry doesn't mean they can't do no wrong or treat a customer bad. We've all known that one person who will do some fucked up shit to a customer and you're like, what the fuck, man? But overall, I feel like, they're just there to do their job. But I feel like part of how people in the service industry become bootlickers is like they just get so stuck in the day to day getting by that they start to become submissive. And I was that way. I was so stuck in getting through life, just making it, just surviving, getting by, making my bills, that I was very submissive. And I think I previously, like high school me, too bootlicky, too way too, even college me started coming out of it because I was starting to become challenged on these principles. But it wasn't even till after college that I broke free, in my opinion, of my bootlicking ideas. You know what I'm saying? And I think that like if you can't admit where you've been in your journey with that, then are you really trying to decolonize, um so I think it speaks to value alignment, and I feel like you should note this is like on all levels of this, the type of environment you can expect when you're out in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be on the customer side or the service side. Fucking someone else said that post was wild with the comments, fuck you and whatever vibe she felt like. And this other person, they said, here to please, fuck you and appreciation. So yeah. So another person said, I mean, most service industry people aren't allowed or can't afford to take off a Saturday for the red dress run, so this sounds like a lot of personal problems. Maybe they assume if you can afford to partake in the festivities, you can be responsible for your personal hydration. Either way, it's unrelated as fuck to this group. I mean, honestly, I do think it is related to the group because it's about hospitality in the service industry. So, yeah, that's like this group is service and hospitality industry. We're talking about hospitality concepts right now. I actually think it's extremely relevant. And then this person said, LOL, the idea of making an anonymous post to call me out. Come on, little baby, have some courage. This other person said, I know what's going on, but I'm with you on that. Coward behavior. Another person said, when I worked at the Roosevelt and people came in dying from the heat and asking to fill their water bottles, I did without hesitation. I wouldn't give free bottles of water, but Def gave me the filter cap. Even management would do this. I made money during the red dress run, so a simple request like water wasn't a big deal. Um, Another dude said, I work festivals occasionally. One appropriately was named Heatwave. A very young, small girl forgot an empty water bottle that could be refilled at the hydration station. Sponsored by Liquid Death Water. Only sold water in cans for $7. She just wanted something with a cap she could put in her bag and take with her. I guess she could have bought the can, taken with her emptied after taking a couple of drinks, then returned to refill between shows. I guess I can see the logic in not giving a cap for the water, sort of. Maybe people would buy a second can, but probably not if they could refill it. You could what the fuck is this story for? You could hold the can, open can, or keep it at your feet while you're dancing, or put a cap back on so you don't lose a good spot in the crowd at a rave fest or kids around. After seeing the sun, I found it odd that the water was called Liquid Death. You know what? You're right, though. Okay, I guess interesting side story, but I guess it. Mm, mm. All right. Um, Someone else said, y'all, I don't know if it's the summer heat or slow season, but there's a little extra meanness in this group recently. Maybe we can try and show each other a little more grace. Someone else said, this group has always been spiteful and mean spirited. Someone said, please address your remark to Leia. Um, I call it the summer slowdown. And I agree on both. I'm saying, in my opinion, and after further reflection, reading more of this, I'm seeing both, like, a lot on this spectrum. I'm seeing on one side a lot of people who I perceive as bootlickers and possibly inhumane who are just against free water, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? On the other side, I'm seeing people who are just only more focused on the service industry aspect. They agree with the free water, but they just want to make sure that you're respecting the service industry. That's what I agree with. Um, Fucking yeah. Someone said I worked on bourbon for a bunch of years for Red Dress Run. It's a pretty obnoxious crowd to deal with. The visual is cool, but working it kind of sucks. I have a thing though where if someone needs water and you have to access it, you just give it to them. It's water, and you have access. Yeah, exactly. Jeannie St. Charles said it's called Plan Ahead. Any Starbucks community give you free water. Plan your spots. Don't get shitty with a person who is not jumping to get the umpteenth free water while they wait for a paying customer during the slowest time of year and most stressful for them to make a living. Why don't they have some empathy and decency for those people? I've seen way too many of my friends having to work 23 jobs just scrape by and then hear you, one of the passes by and bitches not getting a cup of water, plan your day better. But that's not the customer's fault. You know what I'm saying? The summer slows down. And that happens every year. Fucking, I agree that there needs to be some issue with the service industry where servers are paid more, everybody's paid more. Um, the summer slowdown though, like that shouldn't you like how slow you are shouldn't change whether or not people deserve free water, in my opinion. I, I just Someone else said the irony of you posting someone's name so boldly but not outing yourself is something else. Ooh, they right. Someone else said, I'm for water being free, but Red Dress Run weekend is a separate beast altogether. Having worked in the quarter during that event many a time, you'll get dude bros that will come into your establishment completely shit-faced looking for free water after spending probably 200 all day for alcohol and get downright belligerent. Besides, most of the bars in the quarter have water stations during events like this anyway. I mean, he like I did say that before. He's not wrong. Like a lot of there are more places to go. So, you know, in this scenario, it's like Generally, do I believe that water should be free? Absolutely. However, in this scenario, if one person won't fucking give it to you, fine, they're being a dip fuck. But whenever you then go treat them bad and then you stay there and you're like trying to talk to other people and still get the thing out of them, that's not gonna happen. Like you need to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Um, They said going into a hotel, bar, restaurant lobby is also not quite the move when looking for that because they have a separate clientele to consider, most of which don't want just any sweaty asshole off the street to come in looking for freebies. That said, while I don't agree with the manner in which she defended her original post, I'm still not cool with public shaming and putting her on blast in a screenshot like this. She can defend herself in the original post if she likes. Someone else said she called out a local business and admitted she had harassed a bartender before speaking to the manager. If that's not deserving of being called out for being a cunty Karen, I don't know what is. I wonder if this person is black or not, because I do take issue with white people misappropriating vernacular and slang. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if this is a white person calling another white person a Karen just because they did something she doesn't like, then that's inappropriate. Because this is a terminology that was reserved for black people referring to being mistreated from white people. And so white people then misappropriating it. It's kind of like all lives mattering. Like, am I wrong for saying that? You know what? It's not my community to speak on. That's just my initial thought on it. And then not even isn't it my initial thought on it because I don't want to be like that, taking credit for ideas I don't think I had. But in terms of like the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this just now is what I meant to say. But in terms of like thoughts on this concept, obviously that's been a very long journey of attempting some form of decolonizing journey through things like Highlander Center, Ali Henny, National Black Deaf Advocates, um, White Woman. I just hit myself in the fucking face. God. White Woman Whisperer, Rebecca, um, Portia, um, and there's just so many more and people to learn from. Like, so you know what I'm saying? It's like these aren't like I'm not sitting here like, oh, this is my. But that's what popped in my head when I saw this. Then I don't think that's my community to speak on. Um, obviously, but you know what? Processing again. One of those times where you process. At what point do you shut the fuck up? Um, at what point is it appropriate to discuss things that you are processing versus are you over speaking on community aspects that you don't belong to when you need to let other people speak on that? I think that's a reasonable boundary too, like reasonable concept to question. Well, it's a good boundary to have and a concept to question to know how to respect the boundary, if that makes sense. Because I don't know what that means yet or is, you know, or if I'm like, okay. Moving on. Someone else said, if you can't afford a bottle of water, stay at home for Christ's sake. These places have to survive. Do you like to see more closed down businesses? If so, then keep acting like this. If giving some random people free water closes down your business, you got other things wrong with your business. And that's from someone who has owned a business for over 11 years. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, fucking Todd Crane said, y'all wowed. Almost anything is complimentary if you ask nicely. Yeah, that's another issue I got with the. Mm. Christine Ivy says, seriously easy if you act right. Aaron Net said, I give out water to homeless people and customers. Outside of that, this conversation is about people that would rather go thirsty than to simply buy anything. I believe in helping those in need, but being cheap isn't a need. And I hate this idea of, oh, well, if you're not absolutely destitute, then I'm not going to offer you free water because you're not deserving. If you, you know, because there are people of lower income who put, you know, on their 1 day off, they might go fucking out, right? They still deserve to be hydrated. What the fuck? So I don't like this whole like comparison thing. Um, then the admin, which he and I disagree on some other shit. But let's see what he said. The mods of this group are wonderful and fantastic, and we're all lucky to have them, and I back the fuck out of them. But maybe, just maybe, this specific post is one that would have been best being refused. The initial post was maybe on the borderline too, right? What benefit is the industry did it provide? The post abuses the anonymous function. It purely mean spirited. And like, if you want to go in on this person, just do it in the post right before. That is literally right beneath this one. Anyway, chat with a mod. We're gonna pause a few people here for a day or so just to bring the temperature down. I'm gonna turn some commenting off before coming back to delete this post later. Hopefully things don't continue to spiral on the other post. We'll probably just do the same thing. If so, I don't know. This isn't really about censorship. It's kind of more at this point just breaking up a really dumb middle of August sort of fight. Happens every year here, it seems. Maybe everyone ought to just slow down for a minute and go have a glass of water. I think that's funny, kind of. I'm trying to remember why that dude pissed me off, but I just felt like something he said one time was super like Dick Holy. Fucking, but you know what? I haven't met a bartender that I wouldn't call a Dick Hole. Anyway, so the original post that this came from, which might get deleted. Hey. So we're on all comments here. It's from the Leah Calistacos here in New Orleans service industry and hospitality, whatever the fuck is called, group. And it says, if you're an establishment that doesn't give free tap water to people in the summer, regardless of event, you're a piece of shit. Cough. Lafitte Hotel and Bar. Now, if she let's take out the concept of the story of what happened. We know she was in the wrong with how she treated the bartender. Let's say we don't know that, or regardless of if that happened, then I would potentially agree with the post on sentiment, right? Like, I do agree that not giving free tap water to people in the summer, regardless of it, is a piece of shit. Now, do I agree with her making a post like this after treating the bartender wrong? As if she didn't also do that. No, at least she admits it in the comments, as so we heard, but let's see what happened. So then Jeremy Patrick said, amazing how many different establishments won't give free water liquid until someone says, I'm passing out. Chance Rivera said, tourist trap. Another person said, tip me for the water, then I don't earn for free. Leah Calacastano said, fuck you and dehydration. And then someone else said, I'm so sorry, the same type of person that shits at a gas station and doesn't buy anything. Also, I buy shit if I needed water. No one has charged me for water at that point. Another person said, fuck you and basic human decency. Your capitalism doesn't make you superior, just a chode. Then they said back, compassion isn't a form of currency the strip club recognizes. I need something I can make it rain on hoes with. Ugh, there's something misogynistic that doesn't sit right with me about the way he said that. Oh, man. Of course, he got women backing him up. And then he said, no, the fact that I kept 25 to 60% makes me better than you. It just feels classist. Like, I think it's one thing to be proud of tipping well and treating service people good, but it's another to be like, I'm better than you for spending more money. I think that speaks to some capitalism and some like classism shit. What the fuck? Like, I think they're all in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't like any of these fuckers at this point. Like, they're all disturbing me, except for Amanda. Amanda, you are amazing. Um, anyway, fucking Christian said, also, do you feel good serving New Orleans tap water to people? I at least try and get them to buy a bottle. It's good at selling and clean water you don't have to maybe boil. Um, Yeah, I mean, it is a boil water advisory, so at this time wouldn't be the best time to give someone water. But when it's not a boil water advisory, it won't kill you to drink the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's better to drink the tap water than to get a stroke or to not be hydrated while you're inebriated and to get too drunk. And then Leo said, "You don't know how to have showed. My compassion and basic human decency actually make me better than you. Fuck you. Full stop." Um, Christian said, "That sounds like 18% type of energy." Amber said, "I'm with you on this. Just say you think poor people deserve to die," to Christian. Um, and then Christian said, "No, I usually point them to the nearest food shelter if they really need help. Do you know where your nearest food shelter is?" Oh, this just sounds so classist. Ouch. Ouch. And it sounds like you don't know what it's like to actually deal with resources regarding homelessness. Like, bruh, my I come from a family of meth addiction, and many people in my family have struggled with homelessness. And because of the addiction, those of us who have a place haven't had the resources to um, fully be able to help people when they're not willing to help themselves and they're doing certain things that can cause harm to you or jeopardize your ability to have a house. And then you can't provide them help because you won't have a house if you do. Try to keep helping them. Type situation. If you've never been in these types of situations, you don't understand. So being like, "Oh, I point people to the food shelter," like, what? Like, that's not how you should be discussing the concept of food, shelter, and resource redistribution. And there's something about the way he speaks that just screams classism and this. It's just like this. I understand that service industry workers deserve to be treated well, but when service industry workers use capitalist greedy arguments, I feel like that's what perpetuates social issues and harm in society. Like, it's the same type of arguments that trigger me because it's the same types of arguments that were used to for trigger warning, defending the dude that sexually assaulted me. "Oh, well, we want to make money because the dude on the venue." Fuck you, bitches. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to shit like that, like, I went ape shit on everybody. I was like, "Fuck all of you that supported him." I wasn't nice to a single fucking person. I understand when it comes to shit like that happening, being like, "Fuck all you bitches, you are inhumane." That I get. There are certain situations in which I feel that tone policing someone's anger about it is victim blaming and is inappropriate. However, I don't feel that in this case where there were other options for this person to get water, free water elsewhere in the quarter. I know there are other options to go. Um, you know what I'm saying? There's places you can be going to get that free water. It's not like you are being oppressed, in my opinion. You can say perhaps it's disrespectful. It is inhumane, but to mistreat others in their position as a service industry worker just because they're at work, regardless of if you agree with how that job was executed, or the decency of that, still doesn't change you harassing. Like, for example, I disagree with the medical industry as a complex, the way it's profiting off of human beings. That doesn't mean I can go walk into a hospital. I can't go to Oshner Hospital and go to the receptionist and be like, "Fuck you, bitch, you're a piece of shit because you don't give me free health care." Do you think that's going to get me free health care, or you think that's going to get me a 5150? You know what I'm saying? Um, so fucking, there's a certain level to where you have to acknowledge, like, you, regardless of if you were in the right with your theoretical belief of something, if you act a certain way and it's not a direct response to harm caused to you regarding oppression, then you need to control your reactions because that's an issue with you as well, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If that, like, I don't know. I think it's about, there are times where I feel it is totally valid and justified to approach a situation with this type of vitriol and anger because it's that fucked up and the situation calls for that level of protest for change to occur. But this isn't about making any type of social change. It's just about taking unnecessary anger and rage out on people who didn't do anything to do that. But then other people are fighting back with, even though she's, so then it's like this cycle continuing, because even though the business may have been wrong for not giving her free water, and she was then wrong for how she treated the staff, I do now feel additional people are being wrong in how they further discuss the concept of um, giving free water. Okay, that's my opinion. Um, I think it's just continuing. It's a little spiral here. And then Christian said, if I gave someone tap water this past week, could have killed them. I mean, that might have been true. I don't know how fucked up it could be whenever there's a boil water advisory, but I mean, shit. If y'all got an espresso machine, I would just use the hot water from the espresso machine and pour it over ice. If you got a coffee machine, I would just use the hot water from the coffee machine and pour it over ice, because the coffee machines and espresso machines, especially the industrial ones at bars, and not every bar in New Orleans has a coffee shop, but has a coffee state pot, but a lot of them do, because it's very common in New Orleans to do some type of coffee alcohol beverage. And so for the ones that do, y'all can use that hot water. That temperature is hot enough to hit boiling point to disinfect anything. And then Frankie said, for someone who's compassionate, you're kind of awful to people online. Leah said, you mean trolls? Fuck them out. Pretty sure speaking on behalf of human decency cancels out not being so nice to online douchebags. You're the reason women everywhere continue to choose the bear. Okay, I guess saying that to Christian kind of makes sense because of how Christian spoke to about the woman situation. That bugged me too. With Frankie, on one level, I can understand where this concept of niceness and civility under white supremacy are used to actually uphold fucked up shit. And so, on one level, I do understand that in regards to human decency, nicety is subjective when human decency is violated, right? But at the same time, um, you, she's not giving human decency to others. I saw her react to very poorly to one person who was very nice to her. So you can't be over here like you're not decent enough to me as a human when you're indecent to humans. You're mistreating service workers and you're mistreating people, pointing out that you're mistreating service workers. So you don't seem to care about the decency of humans or being nice in that regard. You know what I mean? I do think there's a point to be made about how like social niceties aren't the same as human decency, but I would also argue that she's not exhibiting human decency either. Um, and then Andrew Black said, big entitled Karen energy from this one. She's definitely spoken to some managers. Yeah, I disagree with white people appropriating, but that's just me. Even if I, whether or not I agree with how she, like, I don't agree with how she treated the service industry worker, obviously. I just don't like how I think people can talk about how fucked up she treated that person without perpetuating social harm to do so. And then A said, nah, you right on this one. Um, and then Leah said, fuck you in compassion. And then Andrew said, fuck you, an entitled cheapskate, more like it. That itself is very classist and capitalistic. Like, in my opinion, the concept of should people have free water is a separate concept from wage, right? And for me, those are two different concepts. Um, so to me arguing that you should be giving free water isn't arguing that you shouldn't be paid. However, it's kind of like asking someone to tip you for, like, it's when you nickel and dime people. In my opinion, the tips you get from serving people who are buying from you should be generating enough per hour to where the few seconds it takes, like, if depending on your water station, I've had some stations where there would be like cups right here, a sink right here, ice bucket right here, and if someone came and asked me for water, all I'd have to do is ice, scoop, water, here you go. Like, that's how quick it is. And a lot of places, it's like you don't even have to move to serve them water. It's less than 10 seconds. Um, so yeah, fucking, there's just a certain level of where people are acting like it's just great waste of their time to give someone free water. And in my opinion, it's not. And everybody's talking, I know people are complaining about the summer, slow down, but red dress run and white linen night and dirty linen night are the money makers for the summer. And so providing good customer service and a good customer experience is how you get tipped more. And when people see you hustling and see you providing a good service to others, I've had people tip me more. They'd be like, I love the way you work, tip me more. That happens. People notice. Someone else said tap water here is nasty. Buy bottled water and don't be cheap. That is, people saying don't be cheap. They're like, have more money. I don't like that. Like, whenever I go out, I obviously prefer bottled water. But if I go out drinking tap water, it's because I don't have the budget for bottled water for what I would like to be doing. And everybody being like, well, if you don't have money, don't go out, can suck my fucking dick. On a certain level, if you don't have money, don't go order food, obviously, but you should still be able to go exist, go drink water and be hydrated and stay healthy, right? And I heavily disagree with all of these people, where they act like someone doesn't deserve to be somewhere if they don't have enough money to purchase water. I think you've got some classism and bootlicking issues to work out. I absolutely agree that people in the service industry need to be paid living wage. I absolutely agree they need to be respected at work. I absolutely agree she shouldn't have said fuck you to the server. I think she should have left, gone somewhere else. There's plenty of other places for her to fucking go in the damn quarter. But the way these people are arguing so hard not to give people water is like this weird control power issue to me based on greed. I don't get it. Um, and then Brittany said, take your cup into the bathroom and fill it there. I don't like taking drinks into the bathroom. The germs gross me out. And then Andrew said this, I carry my own canvas shopping bag, so I should get free stuff, Whole Foods. I don't understand what that is relevant to. And then Gloria said everyone should get free stuff at Whole Food. And he said, let me know how that works out for you. And then Leia said, I honestly didn't think about that. It grosses me out. I wouldn't do it. Um, Leia said, you generally don't understand how this whole human experience works. Obviously, I expect nothing less than a guy with a dog for his profile picture. Andrew said, I understand you're an entitled cheapskate and we don't have a dog for a profile. Don't we both have a dog for a profile picture? That's where the misogyny is going back into play because I feel like that's probably calling her a bitch. But, and then the whole entitled cheapskate. Perhaps we call her entitled, but when people start putting people down for how much money they have or how much money they spend, no matter what, to me, you're just not a safe person. I'm like, thanks for letting me know you are a classist and a bootlicker. Goodbye. Nope, no thank you. Um, Amber May said, monsters, no excuse. No excuse to not give people free water in this heat. People have lost their humanity. Oh my god. I'm also a bartender and it's mildly annoying, but I'd rather people not pass out or die in my bar. Rachel said, nothing is for free. If you can't purchase your own water, why are you there? Stay home if you can't afford it. Leah said, you may never ever fall on hard times. You will reap, may you never ever fall on hard times. You will reap what you sow. Right, like this whole stay home if you can't afford it ties back into this whole concept of people shouldn't exist or be somewhere if they don't have enough money. So that bothers me. And that speaks to colonialism. That is deeply rooted in colonialism and taking away indigenous land, in my opinion. That is rooted in taking away indigenous rights. That's where that ideology comes from. It's very harmful. Pisses me off. Um, and then April Miller said, there's a wall order in town right now, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Someone else said they lifted that 2 days ago. And she said, oh, okay, well, thank God. I've been making my coffee with bottled water. You don't have to, if there's a boil water advisory, if you do want to make your coffee with boiled water, with bottled water, go right ahead. But I would save my bottled water because your coffee should be, your coffee will bring the water at a high enough temperature to where you have boiled it, met this, where you've disinfected it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's good to go. Unless you're doing iced coffee with a cold drip method, then you definitely do want to use bottled water for a boil water advisory. If you're doing a Japanese flash brew iced coffee or an iced latte or anything like that, then you should be good to go with your coffee machine or espresso machine. The water will bring it to temperature. Um, so yeah, Leia said that this is a comment where Leia said they specifically did not give out water during the Red's restaurant in order to drive sales of bottled water. The fucking manager couldn't story explained it to me. Fuck them. Andrew said, I'd like to speak to your manager because I don't buy a single thing. Karen realizes private businesses don't stay open solely to cater her needs and wants for free because she's special. I feel like people are just trolling. Like, there's no, people are being very bootlicky with their trolling. If they were just trolling her only on the basis of how she treated the manager, I would think it was funny. But using capitalist bootlicking ideology rooted in white supremacy based on taking away indigenous rights bothers me. Like, you can't be arguing for workers' rights when you're sitting there like upholding capitalism. Like, suck my dick. Like, that's upholding imperialism in my opinion. But um she could have gone somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? She could have totally gone somewhere else. So, yeah. And then Leia said, water is life, fuck you, and human anatomical functioning. Um, Andrew said, great, get it somewhere else, you entitled. See you next Tuesday. I think he's just very misogynistic, particularly like with the specific usages of like bitch and cunt and hoe and the like how oh, no, he didn't say hoe, this other dude did, but the way that they degrade her, I don't know. And then she said, for the record, I didn't ask to speak to anyone. She chased me down after I told the bartender to fuck off. I didn't care anything. So she probably told the bartender to fuck off. The bartender told the manager, and the manager probably went and found her. That tracks. Like, the manager would probably, good manager would probably go speak to a customer if they told their employee fuck off. Um, and then Andrew said, I hope it was to throw your demanding entitled freeloading ass out. Asking for water isn't freeloading. That's literally, are you kidding me? What the fuck? And then, that's like charging for ice or some shit. Leia said, no, it wasn't. Do you seriously think your fascist attitude is winning here? Water is like, fuck you, full stop. I do agree that he is possibly a fascist. He's definitely spouting some fascist ideology with this whole, like, concept of if you don't have enough money, you shouldn't be somewhere. And, I don't know. Yeah. And then Andrew said, I think you're in the minority in thinking you can go into a private business and demand free shit. Um, I'm guessing the chairs weren't to your liking and the TV was too heavy to carry back to the free Uber you demanded because travel is life or whatever nonsense you convinced yourself that makes you special. You need to be hot to be a demanding cunt and get away with it. The way he's degrading her based on looks and stuff just proves to me that like this dude I think is a misogynist. I do think that you can't just go into somewhere and expect that they're going to give you something, but at the same time, I do think that anybody serving alcohol has an ethical obligation to ensure that anybody that has been inebriated in their property is properly taken care of and has access to water if you have access to it. And for me, If you aren't caring about the human lives of people in your establishment, whether or not you've served them or whether or not they've purchased whenever they're intoxicated, you should not be serving alcohol because you are not a safe person to be in charge of the imbibement of other people if you're not looking after the well being of those who have been imbibing around you. Okay? Megan says the sewage water board New Orleans disagree with you, but go off. Leia says you literally don't know a single thing about me. Go off on your assumption zone. Join this character you're creating. What's next? Rachel said, I'm pretty sure if the manager did not explain to you that as you're saying that, but it's their business and they can do as they please. The fact that you asked to speak to the manager about a free cup of water says a lot about you. On that note, I'm pretty sure they are thrilled that you will never come back to their establishment. She didn't ask to speak to the manager, according to her, though. She said the manager came and spoke to her. So a lot of people, when they start twisting, they're twisting the narrative, and then they're like talking about shit that didn't happen, that's not relevant at all. They start like you're losing your like if y'all had just stuck to it was wrong for her to tell the bartender fuck you, and that she could have gone somewhere else, then yes, I would agree with you. But where they're taking it, I no longer agree with their arguments. I find them being misogynistic. I find them upholding capitalism, upholding colonialism, upholding imperialism, and being extremely toxic and inhumane. You know what I'm saying? I find them just kind of using the situation. It would be one thing to use a situation where if she had treated this person like shit and y'all were just kind of trolling her for treating the person like shit and stuck to that, I would think it's funny. I would think it's really funny. But to they're just there's this malicious energy in their approach where it's not no longer is a coping mechanism for dealing with how customers can treat employees. Now it is like a defense mechanism to shit talk on a random person and degrade a random woman based on looks, based on finances. And it's not okay to me. That to me, it speaks to a representation more of the people commenting these types of things. You know what I'm saying? And then Corey Peck said, how about I've had a Narcan several people because they want free water and use my bathroom. I'm goddamn done with people dying in my bathroom. If you want to use it, you have to pay at least $1. What the fuck? So now they're dragging people who have drug addiction into this? That has nothing to do with this. And, you know, being a bartender, part of being a bartender is that you are legally helping people consume drugs. Alcohol is a drug. You are providing drugs. So now to judge people for drug addiction using imperialism and capitalism to justify it really doesn't sit right with me. And I really hope one day these people decolonize. And this person said, that's traumatic as fuck, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but your super specific reason, it still isn't enough to cancel all humans' requests for water, in my opinion. And Corey said, I work on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It's a different road than you're probably, hence a different option is warranted. Is this the person that keeps saying option when I think they mean opinion? Um, yeah, your option of of implementing structural genocide via capitalism against people with substance abuse isn't a good one, my dude. Okay, and then Corey Peck said also, do you go back to where? What? And then Frankie said, this is a double-edged sword. This city is ran through with meth queens and crack fiends and unmedicated. The last thing any bartender wants to deal with in this climate is stray cat syndrome. Now, I'm all for everyone getting to have a sip of the city's finest fecal H2O, but if we're on a human basis level, we're a Catholic city with 3 churches in the vicinity of the quarter that will provide for the needy. On top of there being 3 shelters, everything is obtainable for those seeking assistance without being a nuisance to patrons or service workers. No. If you're a service worker and someone asking you to do your job, which is to serve them, is a nuisance to you, then perhaps you shouldn't be a service worker. Now, if her saying fuck you, that's on her. She was in the wrong for that. But her just asking for free water, nothing wrong with that. That is reasonable. This alarms me to know that these people feel this way. Like, it's like, okay, you're really not safe. They don't care about you. So many people in this city, you're not safe when you go out. They do not care what happens to you. Um, and they obviously don't know what it's like. None of these people have ever been in a situation where they actually are at that level where you need those resources, because they're just speaking on these things as if it's so easy to go get help from a church. Churches don't just help people. Are you fucking kidding me? You can't just go to the food shelter and get help. It doesn't work that way. You have to know the specific times. They don't allow you to stay there all the time. You have to know when to show up. You have to keep showing up. You have to be able to get there. You have to have a safe place to be until you can go be there. There are just all of these factors into play. Like, they don't understand. Okay. And literally, the amount, based on conversion rates alone, people who come in, not that many people come through asking for water. I've worked in New Orleans for 10 years in the service industry. I know, suck my dick. Like, I've worked at PJ's, I've worked at La Petite Grocery, I've worked at Compare La Pen, Tula, inside Compare La Pen at the old 77. I worked at this place, it was called Huck Finn's when I worked there, on the Decatur, but now it's called like Cote de something. They changed it, and it's nearby House of Blues. I've worked at a place. It's not there no more. It's called Nola Cantina on Frenchman and Decatur. You know what I'm saying? And these are places that I've had roles as a server, barista, etc. I've worked at what's that place? Santa Fe on Esplanade. I've worked there. Um, I've worked for my twin sister, Monkey Monkey Coffee Shop. I've worked at the Vintage. I've worked at Cafe Luna. I have worked at Drink Beauty. I worked at 3 different PJ's locations. I feel like I'm missing some places I've worked at. I think I've worked at more places than that. But I feel like I'm missing somewhere. So my point is, I have a lot of experience in the New Orleans service industry, from fine dining to fast-paced situations. I've worked at places where, we only do 100 covers and we do those really well because it's fine dining. And I've worked at places where we do fine dining, but we're doing 300, 400 covers, bitches, let's go. And then I've worked on Frenchman, where there's no numbers. It's just good luck, bitch. Good luck, bitch. You know what I mean? I've worked at a lot of places. I have always, always. When I greet a table, I greet them with water. When I greet someone, like, if as a barista, you don't do that because you're going to be wasting a lot of time. But if it's an event like St. Patrick's Day Parade, Red Dress Run, specific events, Mardi Gras, I ask. When I see, you can see they're sweating, or if they ask for it, hell yeah, I give it to them. Don't care if they tip me or not. You know why? Because I know I kick ass at my job to where I get good tips. If someone doesn't tip me here or there, other bitches are gonna tip me. And you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I don't know. I know this other person said, no, if you're just everybody Joe Schmo looking for a cup of water, people are working, they're not your parents or your caretakers. If you're in need of something rifled through your change purse, and go into Rouse's. What's the point of being in the hospitality industry if you're not providing hospitality? I don't think these people understand, like, the point of the hospitality industry, to provide hospitality. You know what I'm saying? We all work for what we have. People aren't at work to just hand out stuff for free. If they were, they would be working for a charity. You're a working adult. If you can't afford a designy, step the coochie game up or stay residential, boo. This is extremely misogynistic. It's extremely capitalist. It's extremely imperialistic. It's disturbing. It's very disturbing. Um, and you're getting paid. You still get that $2 an hour. You know what I'm saying? So you're over here judging someone who can't afford water, who may not afford water. You're judging people if they can't afford water. Meanwhile, you're the one upset, but because you're not making more than $2 an hour, you're saying that you should be paid more than $2 an hour to serve water if that's the minimum you're making, and that's not even what you get paid an hour because you should be making tips from others. So you're saying that you don't work hard enough or to make enough money off of others, or you're not having enough customers in order to get tips, or you're saying not a single one of your customers tip you, to where when one person asks you for water, you know what I'm saying? From my 10 years experience in New Orleans, I haven't had that many people ask me for water as a server, as a bar back, as a barista, to where I feel that they're acting like it's this great burden. I don't think it is. And I really feel that they're just taking this opportunity to unleash their internal misogyny and imperialism and capitalist ideas under this disguise of it's for the workers' rights, when the worker is getting paid the same regardless. Are you kidding me? And then so she said, ew, out here single-handedly making America great again, huh? You disgust me. And then a person saying a white woman using KKK lingo to foreign resident, now citizen who works for what they have and is happy with boundaries. How far your nation has gone ass backwards, but go off, queen. If you are white, it doesn't matter if they're foreign. She didn't say anything xenophobic. You can still be upholding white supremacy. So let's see. They are a white person, in my opinion. Oh, nope, I apologize. They do seem to potentially be possibly where you from. They're definitely upholding white supremacy. All right, this first profile though, picture though, you've got the way the lights look kind of yellow. I just assumed. I apologize. I apologize. It's definitely not a white person. I misspoke. However, so we can speak to an aspect of should white people be calling people of the global majority white supremacists? You know, maybe there's some problematic issue there. However, if someone is upholding white supremacist ideology or misogynistic ideology just because they're from somewhere else or because they're marginalized in a different way doesn't necessarily give an excuse for that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Um, so you can't uphold, like when you're spouting white supremacist ideology, you can't say, well, I'm a person of the global majority, so it's okay that I said that. That kind of is tokenizing yourself, in my opinion. Um, Now, if she had said something xenophobic to him about that, then I would think that perhaps that would work. But she didn't say anything xenophobic. And she actually, in my opinion, is specifically pointing out, specifically speaking to what he is saying. And yeah. And she actually did. She spoke to making America great again, huh? And honestly, that is a type of ideology he's following. So in my opinion, I do feel that he's kind of using that position to perpetuate harmful narratives. Oh, uh-oh. But I don't know how she's doing now. She says, you think you get a pass at being a racist piece of shit because you're an immigrant. He's not being racist. Ooh, uh-oh. Newsflash, buddy. This country is literally made of immigrants. Ooh, now she's being racist. But for the record, America is the country you're referring to when you spout your anti-humanitarian garbage. Because you say that I fight for gives free garbage tap water, buddy. Okay, it's not possible. She's definitely white. Okay, I know I accidentally called him a white person. He's totally not white. I'm so sorry about that. I swear to God, I apologize. I said I'm sorry. I hate the shit you said, but I'm not trying to. But you can see why with the yellow lighting, I got confused just on this first photo here. Okay? All right. Now, but with her, I don't think I'm confused. I am pretty positive this is a white person. Now, even if she's like me, where I'm mixed heritage, I'm socially perceived as white, therefore, because race is a social construct that I don't believe in, but because we live under this social construct, I'm a white woman, but my father is native, my mother is white, mixed descent here. Okie dokie. So I can understand how perhaps she could be mixed descent, but even us mixed descent people, if we are socially perceived as white, we do not experience racism, in my opinion. We may experience xenophobia, but I do not believe that people such as us who are socially perceived as white experience racism. And I do think that if, like, us claiming that people of the global majority are racist against us is problematic. Now, did he uphold white supremacy? Yes. Can someone have ideology that upholds white supremacy without being racist? I think so, and here's why. Because misogyny, the capitalism, and the imperialism, in my opinion, all uphold white supremacy for sure. However, they still experience racism. And Leia has no lived experience on racism. You know what I'm saying? But Frankie does. You can have lived experience on discrimination. You can tokenize that lived experience to discriminate other forms of discrimination that you don't experience. But it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, now they're both discriminating against each other. And I'm still at that, I'm like, I don't like any of y'all. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And I understand I could be problematic with how I've discussed this. I'm still in my decolonizing journey, so I apologize for my problematic in my part in my nature in this discussion. We're working on that, and this is our journey in processing. As you can see me move from A to B, like how do I go from A to B in my mind? Well, here is me trying, right? So yeah, I forgot if I finished reading this or not, and I'm noticing that my captioner is being a little fucky. So if it keeps doing that, I'm gonna just refresh it. But so I'm gonna just reread this. She says, you think you get a pass at being a racist piece of shit because you're an immigrant. Newsflash, buddy, this country is literally made of immigrants. But for the record, America is the country you're referring to when you spout your anti-humanitarian garbage. Because the USA that I fight for gives free garbage tap water, buddy. Ouch. This sounds like she's very harmful. She's the one being imperialistic, and this is some anti-indigenous shit. America is made of settler colonialism. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Um, and to be like it's made of immigrants is heavily whitewashing colonialism. So she's over here with this like you she's weaponizing these people are weaponizing social justice vernacular to perpetuate discrimination and oppression against each other on all sides, in my opinion. And it's like disturbing me. I'm like, you're all pissing me off for different reasons right now. What the fuck? No, I'm a what the hell? I did not expect this to go so long. We're gonna have to take a break after this post. My bad, dude. I should have done one live stream just on this situation. I did not realize it was gonna be like this. Um. Anyway, so Frankie replied, "I'm not your buddy or acquaintance. You're a goblin who needs more structure. I'm confused as to how I'm racist when you use the KKK toward me. The unmedicated I was speaking of. You are the prime of why we don't give away free water." Okie dokie. So when she had just said the KKK ideology, I do agree that a lot of the vernacular he said with the misogyny, the meth queens, the being against substance abuse, the anti-capitalism, all of that does uphold, the KKK type ideology. So there could be an argument for that there. However, the moment she accused him of being racist when he's the person of the global majority in this situation and she's a white woman, wrong. Canceled out any form of, you know what I'm saying? And because she's not in a decolonizing journey where she can articulate why what he said is harmful, she's literally, in my opinion, just they're all just weaponizing the things they see each other do wrong to take anger out on each other They're not actually discussing social justice issues in a way to move forward with truth and reconciliation on how should these issues be handled as a system. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yeah, fucking he's still being ableist. He's still being extremely problematic. I still think he's ableist, misogynistic. You know, he's definitely capitalist, upholding imperialism. Lots of issues which do go in hand with white supremacist ideology, but so is she. Calling out, claiming that you are experiencing racism from a person of the global majority when you present as a white person is always going to be a huge red flag to me. Just hell no. What the fuck? Nope. Nope. Uh-uh. Fucking, and so she said, what the fuck are you even talking about? And how much do they charge for drinking water in your country of origin? Because mine, Greece, it's illegal to sell bottled water for more than 50 cents. I read it. Keep on making America great again. And I think they're both being, I think she's being xenophobic. Even though, you know what I mean? I think she is being very xenophobic. And I was right about her being Greek, though. So, I don't like Andrew, but let's see what the fuck he said. Andrew Black said, freeloaders say what? I've yet to run across an establishment that won't provide a water chaser with a cocktail purchase. You walk into a McDonald's and demand a free water without purchase too? Leah said, it's fucking hot outside and water is life. It should always be free. That's why water fountains and filling stations exist. Chode. And Andrew said, great, use a water fountain or filling station then. Who's stopping you? Or did every source of water but the Lafitte Hotel dry up? And if she was in the quarter at the French market, there are water bottle stations. So if she would just need a cup, she could go to a water bottle station. And at a lot of bars, they have to-go cups on the bar. And sometimes I don't even ask. I just go take a cup and run away. Oops, I did not mean to like that. I was trying to click more. Someone said that'll be $1. Um, and someone said, didn't you hear it? It's hot outside, so she deserves free stuff. Didn't you hear slave labor is only legal in prisons? This just screams racism to me. Why are we bringing this? Why are we bringing mass incarceration and racism up or comparing yourself to that? That just feels like racism to me. And then Andrew said, but it's hot and she won't drink bottled water because she carries her own water bottle, so you should fill her for free. And why not make that soda water and toss in some Grey Goose while you're at it? She deserves it because it's hot and water is life. So them making fun of that concept, making fun of the idea that someone would want water when they're drinking, whenever their bartenders, really doesn't sit right with me. People acting like, why should you deserve or feel entitled to being treated well? Whenever this literally is a post group called Hospitality Industry. Um, and yeah, so that's all we have to see there from that. So let's look at the definition of hospitality. It is the friendly and generous reception of entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. Hospitality is the relationship of a host towards a guest, wherein the host receives the guest with the some amount of goodwill and welcome. This includes the reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. The business of providing food, drink, and accommodations for customers of restaurants, bars, etc., or guests at hotel. Food, drink, and entertainment provided by a company for business associates. The activity or business of providing services to guests in hotels, restaurants, bars. The act of being friendly and welcoming to guests and visitors. The friendly reception and treatment of guests or strangers. Known for being kind and welcoming to visitors. Generous and friendly treatment of guests and customers. I honestly do not think that a cup of water is too much to ask for, and the way that they minimize and mock the concept of making fun of someone asking for water kind of bothers me. Like if they just stuck to making fun of her for for being rude to the bartender, or for the trying to claim that white people experience racism comment, those types of things, I would be like, hell yeah, keep trolling keep trolling that bitch, fuck her. If they were just sticking to that, I wouldn't have anything to say. I would be like, carry on. But the way that they use this thing to perpetuate misogyny, to perpetuate imperialism, to perpetuate capitalism, to uphold bootlicking at the expense of the quality of living for others, to make sure that other people are taken care of and hydrated, really fucking bothers me. So yeah, this live stream's already been an hour and 45 minutes. I expected the whole thing to last an hour. I did not mean to or expect to spend 2 hours on this post. Obviously, it really bothered me. Um, and I think it's because I'm still processing the social issues that I had in the service industry. And I loved my job in the service industry. I love making coffee, I love making people happy. But it's not everybody, but it's a certain type of guest and a certain type of person that you have to work with where I don't feel safe to do my job, and then I get anxiety and I struggle to function, right? Um, so I think, on a certain level, like, we have to reflect on what type of environment are we creating for the people around us. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah. So, do you think that people should be given free water? Obviously, you know what I think. What we're gonna do now is take a quick break. After the break, during the break I'm gonna reset this captioner. I'm gonna take a little, like, 15 minutes tops ish. I think, do a break, go nuke my coffee, grab a Sprite. Then we're gonna finish up with the Santina discussion, as well as just a general discussion of when's a good time to start a business. So yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And we're gonna do a little break now, and I will be back in about 15-ish minutes. I forgot to do? I forgot to switch. Sorry, I've forgotten to refresh the switch. Okie dokie, I knew I was forgetting to do something on my break there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is just go back over and review a bit of the Santina situation because we're going to check out an article that I didn't see that came out in April from Distractify called Why Did Santina Quit Working with Dr. Miami? Then we're going to look at the Reddit thread from regarding Dr. Miami and Santina that I said I was going to go look for last time, and this is what I think it is. This is what I found about it. I did find a Reddit thread, and then I also found the a LinkedIn article for an interview that came out June 3rd, 2024. Um, and that was a couple of months later, so yeah. And that mentioned Dr. Miami, so I figure we could take a look at that as well. And then I also just want to reiterate again, in my previous live stream, I had been discussing Santina needs to start a business, and I had been framing that live stream with the concept of why I felt now is a good time for her to start a business. Um, and I'm gonna leave it as that because I still feel what I said fits for that narrative and is a good situation for anyone to consider as a case study for if it could be a good time to start a business if they're in that situation. But she does have a business already. She's got an LLC, as I said at the beginning of this live stream. So keep that in mind. She already has a business. So my narrative is my advice and everything I said still stands in a way. Just the adjustment of needing to be that I think she should focus on building her business. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, all right. So fucking from Distractify, they published in April. Why did Santina quit working with Dr. Miami? Here's the tea. And it has a quote, let me know what else you guys want to see me do since now I have so much free time. Santina told her followers. Um, and it starts talking about how social media and reality show star Dr. Miami's longtime employee Santina will no longer be working for him. And she declared that she left him. And so here's what we know. Um, and she assured her followers she won't stay unemployed for long. She already does have a client, or I think she had one client secured before she left, so she technically is not unemployed. Even if she's not making as much money as she wants to make, she's still got employment. And then it says on April 2024, April 3rd, Santina shared that she no longer works with Dr. Miami, which allowed her the freedom to go to a gifting suite in the middle of the day. Let me know what else you guys want to see me do now since I have so much free time, she said at the end of a session that showcased her trying on bathing suits and gym sets. So people were desperate to know what happened, but she didn't give it anything away, just saying that it was her choice to leave. Yeah, I've noticed that I am very fidgety because I constantly sit in different ways that are probably not healthy long term in these chairs, but fuck it. Anyway, she said, it says, a recent episode of their podcast called Crime and Plastic, which Dr. Miami and Santina participate in, revealed that the duo had some serious tension between them. Ooh, I didn't pull this up. Oh, no, I did. I did. I think I already reacted to this in the first live stream. I covered it. Oh, I have the urge to check my notifications. I'm like, don't do it. Click away. We're focused. Focus, bitch. Okay. Um, But yeah, fucking yeah. All right, I covered that in the first live stream I did on this. Fucking, and then it says that the podcast host Rosie had to referee Dr. Miami and Santina when their beef got a little too uncomfortable, and Dr. Miami said that it was edited to make him look bad. Um, and Santina said, if you edit that mouth, you won't look bad. But this is likely far from the end of the infighting. I had said that then that I felt that there was probably more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, Dr. Miami has been bombarded by inquiries about Santina, or at least he was 4 months ago. Um, and it's pretty clear there's no love lost. But over on his TikTok, fans are demanding answers about where she went. Bring Santina back, one person blasted the surgeon. Play Santina whatever she wants to come back, implored another commenter. So you see how it's reporting previously everybody was like so like, yes, we need Santina here, and now there's this like huge switch in the narrative in the comments that I saw that I reviewed last night. And that's why I was questioning. I wonder what happened for that shift in social perception. Or is it just a matter of value alignment with the communities being built in each situation? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, um, some people thought it was an April Fool's Day joke. Um, but one fan put it in perspective that said was saying that they're basically saying that Santina is going to be fine. Her bank accounts will still be full, but the same cannot be said for Dr. Miami because he's nothing without her. Some people were speculating that she was fired. Um, and yeah, some people were saying this is just a ploy to get attention. I doubt that. I think she's just sharing her real life experience because good or bad, it never like no matter what, it's never like easy to talk about losing clients online. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just do that for attention. You know what I mean? Like you do that because you need to update people what you're doing now because if you've made yourself a presence and now you're no longer there, people are going to start asking about it if you just stop showing up. So you have to address it so people know on a certain level. But then, depending on what you sign, if you can't talk about it fully, then it's just like you're like, yeah, I'm here to tell you, I want to tell you shit, I can't tell you shit, but shit happened, and so what's up? You know what I'm saying? That's how it becomes. You know what I mean? And I get that. So, on to the Reddit thread. Dr. Miami and Santina is what it's called. It was posted 4 months ago. Um, and fucking, basically, it has a screenshot where it shows Santina leaves Dr. Miami, and someone says, "Girl, we need a story time on why you left Dr. Miami." Um, and then one person said, "No, it's April Fool's Day, but now she can clarify it because 2 plus 2 equals 4, but then divide it, and we were back to square one." And Santina said, "I don't work for him, and it's not April Fool's." And someone says, "Has anybody heard or read anything else about this?" And so in the comments here, the general discourse, people are saying, with NDAs to exist, don't expect much to be said. I can't fucking speak. With NDAs to exist, don't expect much to be said, is what they said. One person said I saw this coming when she started working for other people. I wonder what happened though. It's very common actually for people in social media management or marketing in general to have work with multiple clients because typically unless one client has a huge retainer, they don't typically pay enough to support an income. Um, unless you're doing a lot for that client. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a full-time position. But in a lot of cases, it'll be more of a contract position. Um, One person said I have a theory that it's around their politics. He's Jewish and she has links in her profiles for support to Palestinians. This is my opinion, not based on any factual information besides what I noted above. Well, there's Jewish Palestinians, so I feel like maybe they meant if that he supports Israel. Not all Jewish people support Israel. That's something to know. Um, just because someone's Jewish doesn't mean there's going to be a political issue. But I think it. Are they a Zionist? Did she mean to say that? Because I highly doubt Santina has an issue with something just because they're Jewish. It would have to be more about Zionism. Um, you know what I'm saying? And one person said, I never thought about it outside the money and just generally not getting along, but I can believe it. Someone said maybe she just wants to do something else now. Someone else says, dang, I'm curious about this one. It's hard to stay professional when the nature of your work is roasting and constantly joking around. I wonder if things went sour. Someone said he's an Orthodox Jew whose whole shtick is Santina. I almost wonder if his wife began to say something as well, like he and Santina are polar opposite individuals. I totally understand that religion is a spectrum and how you follow those beliefs are a spectrum, but for him to be an Orthodox Jew and his branding to be what it is does not compute in my head. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm anti Semitic for thinking that, but from what I know of the Orthodox Jew, uh, is that, I don't know, Jewish people. Um, I'm sorry, okay. So then someone else said, I heard any mention of Palestine would warrant an immediate block on his TikTok too. Oh, well, I think it's interesting. We do notice that Santina, she has had, um, I've been looking up, here it is. Santina does have, if you pull this up right here, this GoFundMe here goes to Gazans helping Gazans. Linked in her bio on TikTok. Did notice that. So we know where she stands. Hey, you know what it is? Anywho, fucking. Someone says, well, I live kind of close to him in a very Jewish area. I'm not Jewish. It's like living in an alternate reality. Pro-Israel demonstrations and signs everywhere. I have Jewish friends who have maybe gone to Israel on birthright. That's their only connection to it. And they're so relentlessly pro-Israel and have every excuse in the road when you mention anything Israel has done. I'm just flabbergasted at times by the excuses they make for all the death and suffering. Recently, I traveled to Europe and it was opposite, with lots of Palestine support wherever I went. So I'm not surprised by his behavior. It's expected in this area. Someone said, thank you for your insight, and that really helps put things into perspective with Jewish community in Miami. I hate that Judaism as a religion is being associated with the atrocities of Israel. Like, that really sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you gotta bring Jewish people into this Israel? Why y'all gotta do that? You know what I mean? Like, leave Jewish people alone, Israel. You know what I mean? Like, Israel fucking is just using the concept of Judaism to hide behind all of their horrors they commit. It really sucks. It's like, that's not what the religion is about. That's what I mean. I don't believe that that is what the religion of Judaism is about. I don't believe it's about Zionism. You know what I mean? And if that makes sense. Not like that. You know what I mean? Like, nope. Not settler colonialism. Fuck that. Anyway. Um, Fuck organized religion now. So this one person said they have a podcast together. I wonder if that will continue. Nah, it didn't. She commented today on a post that she's not working there and that it wasn't April Fool's. Well, yeah, that's what we just looked at. Someone commented, "What about the podcast?" And Santina replied, "They'll probably continue it." Someone else said, "If you watch the last episode of the podcast, she looks like she'd rather be literally anywhere else than the podcast. So if this is true, I don't see it continuing." Maybe I should do like a podcast reaction and try to find the actual podcast. I might consider that. I might do that. Well, they could continue it without her. I don't know who would listen because I feel like most people listen because of Santina, but shrug emoji. And then they said someone actually asked about the podcast, asking what will happen to it now, and she replied that they'll probably continue it. Okay, did I just read that twice or are they repeating shit? I think I read that twice. My bad. Um, and then they said someone else commented asking, "Help! Can we discuss a BBL?" And she replied, "I don't work there anymore. You have to take up your BBL request with him." Another user responded, "April Fools," to which Santana replied, "I'm serious. Either it's legit and she signed an NDA, or it's a clever marketing campaign to get them both some attention. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was the latter." Also, she was featured in his son's TikTok post after these comments were made, so while it may have been pre-recorded, it's still interesting to know. I mean, she could have a good relationship with the kid and fuck the relationship with the dad because I don't have a good relationship with my parents. Shit. But, fucking, this would have been a really bad marketing campaign. Like, while it would have generated short-term views and attention, long-term, it would have contributed to distrust and company transparency on both sides. It's never good to be not transparent typically, unless it's to provide a gift. Like, and at the end result is you give someone something really cool and it's worth it. You know what I mean? Like, and you were just trying to give them a good experience. Then it can be okay to trick people. But typically, if you like are known for tricking people, or you just become known for lack of transparency, and that's not a clever marketing strategy, in my opinion. Um, so yeah. And then someone else said, I honestly think it had something to do with her pay, if anything. She was/is still working two jobs to sustain her stuff. He should have been paying her enough as a social media manager that she didn't need to do that. I think it depends on the hours. So start on a certain level. Um, you don't. There's only a certain amount of work for a social media manager to do. So if you are contracted to stay too long, you're gonna be accepting a lower pay than what you could get if you took on multiple clients. Um, Someone said I'm waiting for the T2. Someone else said it'll be interesting to see what happens with his TikTok now. Santina's vids were a genius. And they got another chick on there. People like her. She's not doing bad apparently. Um, Someone said, weren't a lot of them just copying TikTok trends? I don't know about genius. Someone else said, I think we should give her some credit here. Nobody was doing what she did at a business level when she started. Also, it's picking what trends, how to tweak them, direct them, and basically starting another trend in itself. Someone else said, this 100%. My job is the same as hers. And honestly, it takes so much time to convince business owners to do anything with social media. Someone says, yeah, sometimes the sub is a little too quick to call laziness or copying. Everything is a freaking copy. Someone said more than half the time I'd see Miami's post of the trend before seeing other versions of the trend. Santina is quick, clever, and has a finger on the beat of what's trending. And said someone said following to get answers. Someone said need to know. Someone said anyone remember Tati and Brittany? Whatever happened to them? I don't know who the fuck they are. And then he said, what do we have today? I think about this all the time. Oh my god, I couldn't remember Tati's name. Okay, I didn't pay attention to old Dr. Miami shit, so maybe that's what it's about. Um, Someone else said, I have a theory. I think this might be related to the Juliet Pepperwood story on this platform. The bride to be misappropriated the bachelorette funds, and the more recent updates indicate that there was an affair happening between the bride to be and the plastic surgeon who couldn't be named because it would give away his identity. His team was taking action to make sure it doesn't get out. The Grand Intuitive also alluded to an affair. Maybe Santina became aware of the affair and couldn't stay, knowing this might all come to light soon and would derail her career. She's going to be fine either way, but that the Miami's posts have been very cringy and almost like it's a distraction. Damn, that's a conspiracy. I wonder if that's true or not. But if that is true, that's fucking wild. Like, this bitch called it. But if it's not true, it's like, ooh, that's way off base. Is that defamation? I don't know. Okay, someone said literally ran to Reddit after seeing a girl's TikTok saying to watch two hot takes. This story and the damn swan is literally insane, and it would be even more insane if Dr. Miami is involved. Someone else said, oh my god, that's exactly what I was thinking. Especially because in the Two Hot Takes episode on this story, OP mentions not being able to say anything legality wise about the plastic surgeon and specifically his practicing state. Someone said, I second this, came here to see if anyone was speculating the same. Then another person said, I just listened to the Two Hot Takes episode and thought of the same theory. Another person, I came here for this, the Airbnb being 5 more minutes from a worldwide plastic surgeon. After this came right after her saying can't specify the state. Literally instantly thought of Dr. Miami. Crazy. It would explain a lot, to be honest. But why Wikipedia says Eva Zion is his wife? I mean, I'm lost. I don't know if Santina is sister-in-law or the wife. Can someone clarify, please? Santina was a social media manager. She is in no way involved in the affair allegations. She is, and then someone else says, um, Eva Zion, I think, is what they're referring to, but they say she is the wife, their high school sweethearts. And then someone else said maybe also Santina realized she didn't want to be employed by a person of that character anymore. That whole story is so insane, but all clues are pointing to Dr. M. I mean, Seafront House, Florida would be perfect for that. I don't know what that comment means. Okay, and then someone else said Dr. Miami's son David posted a TikTok with Santina and Dr. Miami 1 day ago. Someone asked him if she quit, and he only responded with, I'm assuming it's an emoji, but since I'm on my desktop, it's not showing me that. It's just like a little square. And it says, also, all of her office door decorations were still up. I seriously think she quit working for Dr. Miami and is working for David now. Or is this just a stunt for attention? I don't know why I'm so hopeful she didn't just quit on bad terms. Someone else commented a bunch of dollar signs. Then that person said, I don't know if this is a reach and I'm not the one to be insensitive at all, but they did quote unquote jokingly roast each other a lot. There are many TikToks that joke Dr. Miami didn't like making videos with Santina. In a lot of videos, you can hear Santina making comments like she's annoyed or something, so maybe that has something to do with her quitting. Or maybe she quit due to her pay. Or maybe she just wanted to do something else. We may never find out. And then another person said, could have this have anything to do with the latest THT episode? Another person, that's how I got here. Someone said, me too. Then someone else said, I'm curious if they're referring to Lenny Hochstein. But Dr. Miami makes sense too. Then somebody else, this was my initial thought as well after listening to THT episode. But he's an Orthodox Jew, married for many years. I don't know, I doubt it, unless I'm misjudging his character. The Grand Intuitive said they have a thing going on. He's not leaving his wife and they're on good terms. Another person said, I have a feeling it has to do with the genocide currently underway. I don't know why, but Santina seems like the type not to be down with that stuff. Someone said he's Jewish as fuck. I'm so tired of people, like, whenever we talk about the genocide, people go, they're so Jewish. Like, let's talk about Zionism, because I know so many Jewish people who aren't down with genocide. Why, but I'm absolutely against Israel. I am so pro-Palestine. Fuck Israel. Fuck Zionism. I just kind of wish, I just feel bad for Jewish people that are pro-Palestine getting associated with this shit, I guess. You know what I mean? Um, but anyway, okay, so then someone said, why would you assume Dr. Miami supports it? And then someone else said he blocks anyone that mentions it. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. And then they said, I wasn't aware he did that. And he said, yes, unfortunately he does do that. It actually sucks when you find out someone is Israel. And then they said he's Israeli. Like, come on, because someone is Jewish and from Israel, be so for real. I don't even think half of y'all even know what that means. Hmm. Yeah, I have to reflect on that. So, back to the LinkedIn situation. On LinkedIn, she did an interview with, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's potentially Zaria Parvez. It says walking the line between empowerment and exploitation, a chat with Santina Rizzi. And it was published June 2024. And it says, as social becomes king, it is clear that some of the highest drivers of impact on marketing teams are also the most junior. And a lot of the time, their boss might not understand what they're doing, but wants them to keep doing it because it's working. Which leads us to an inevitable tension point. Good leadership depends on mutual respect and often shared experiences. A content creator will respect their boss more if their boss can create what's being asked of them. But if they can't, then what? Role managers need to ensure their content creators feel empowered and not misunderstood. At that moment, there are very few role managers who understand how to build out a social team and are able to create the same high impact content of their social teams. I'm lucky enough to work in a place where I was encouraged to keep climbing, but that's just not always the case. I've had conversations with many content creators for some of the biggest brands. Yet, yes, we have a group chat who aren't allowed to publicly take ownership about their impact. Instead, they've had to sit back while their bosses publicly try to explain and take credit for the work they're doing. It's crushing. And more often than not, junior talent, women, and people of color bear the brunt of it. The truth is, empowerment and exploitation of work walk an incredibly fine line. If your boss is only empowering you to do more work and not rewarding you for it, that becomes exploitative. Straying on the side of empowerment has to be an intentional effort. I sat down with Santina Rizzi, known for her work with Dr. Miami, to learn how she navigated that line between empowerment and exploitation, and when she knew it was time to let go. Okay, enough of me yapping. Here's Santina. So I wanted to reflect on this introduction. So you see at the end here, when she knew it was time to let go, she navigated the line between empowerment and exploitation. My opinion, this is a way of her being discussing what happened without it coming back on her. Because she didn't technically call anybody out, but look, it's, in my opinion, let that reflect. I think this is kind of the, because why would you publish this if that had nothing to do with when you were letting go of the client? You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so then question number 1, tell me about yourself. And she says, I'm Cuban Italian born and raised in Miami, Florida. So before I was like, I think she's Colombian. I don't know why, so my bad for saying that. She's Cuban Italian, y'all. I was so sorry I said that. I don't know what is in, like, why I'm like this. I'm working on this, fucking. But she's a political science and religion double major and graduated in 2021 with the goal of going to law school. In 2020, she went viral for a series she created called Is It a Fit or Is She Just Kidding? And gained 250,000 followers in less than 5 hours. After 1.5 years of working at a corporate law firm, I quit to become a full-time content creator and began working regularly on my account at San Rizzo. I grew my account to 340,000 in less than a year with different content series. By that point, I decided I could move into social media marketing by leveraging the results from my own personal account, which is exactly how I landed the job with Dr. Miami. I would say I think there's a lot to reflect on with social issues behind the concept of is it a fit or is she skinny? And regards to misogyny, fat phobia, and how society treats us. So I haven't processed this concept enough to reflect my issue here, but this did stood out to me in an alarming way for myself based on my own triggers with how people discuss my own body. And I think that I wonder if it's, like, I don't know. I didn't see this series, so I don't know where it went. So I'm not trying to criticize the series. I'm just discussing the concept of is it fit or is she just skinny? You know what I mean? I think on one level it does address how I think there's like a thin privilege that exists in society, Um, on another level, I can't tell if this is like acknowledging that or perpetuating it, to be honest. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying because I haven't seen the context of that title, that's just what the concept of the title itself leads me to question. You know? Um, I've worked in law firms. It's very difficult. So yeah, fucking I do think that there is something to be said here for how she leveraged the momentum of the leads that she was generating through the engagement. I think, from what I perceive, if this is what she thinks she's missing, where she wants to go, what I think is missing for her is building out her sales funnel. Maybe she doesn't know what that looks like for her. Maybe that's the issue. Um, I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second, though. So number 2, she says you became an integral part, not, well, the interviewer says you became an integral part of Dr. Miami's social. How did that strategy come to life? And Santina answered, the truth is Dr. Miami was looking for someone who would be integrated into his social media presence online for logistical reasons. He's busy doing surgery for most of the day, so he wanted someone who could hop in and take over the content while he performed his actual job. I don't think he meant to have someone as integrated into the content as I end up being, but that's pretty much how it happened. So I can understand how it can be difficult to make content for someone who isn't easily available, because when you work with attorneys, it can be the same way because they spend a lot of time in court or working on cases to where getting the time for them to do the content production can be pretty difficult because they can be very focused on the cases they have to do. And the same can be said for doctors when they're in surgery. But you have to be able to make the most of the events marketing and the conferences and the types of things, the publications that they get, and do after marketing with that in order to, in my opinion, continue and build out a content calendar for them. And I've already discussed pros and cons of how integrated she was in the content in regards to the development of brand loyalty for either herself or their brand in the first video I covered on this. Um, and then in the last video I covered on this, I was more focused on how she could leverage the critique she's gotten about being end of content with how it did generate results for engagement via influencer marketing when building her business. And I was using her situation as a case study for when a good time to start a business could be for someone. Um, because at that time I hadn't realized that she does technically have her own business. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's amazing. And if she just graduated college in 2021, she's just getting started. Most businesses fail before they hit 5 years. So she just got to keep going for 2 years. She's over that. She's just got to get over that wall. I mean, you know what I mean? So yeah, we just gotta kick her butt, push her over the ledge, and she'll be fine. That sounds wrong. That's not what I mean though. But I mean getting over the hump to be sustainable. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I don't know where I went with that. Okay, so number 3. It seems like a good mix of intuition and your own background as an influencer that led to Dr. Miami's growth. When the account really started to blow up, how did you both manage the line between empowerment and exploitation? The response. Empowerment to me is the effort to provide as much support, resources to help a person achieve their overall goal, duty, while exploitation is the effort to benefit as much as possible from a person's work or duty without actually providing resources and support, or providing as little as possible. The truth is, the internet empowered me. I did initiate the relationship with our followers by actually writing my name in the videos instead of saying social media manager. But from then on, the internet adopted me as their own. Every comment section of every video I posted for Dr. Miami was filled with comments referring to my work, my humor, and how smart it was for me to participate in XYZ trend. Even now that I haven't worked for or been in a Dr. Miami video in 2 months, the comment section still echoes my name. And it shows screenshots this river of Santina Dr. Miami. But all of these screenshots were from March, and I don't believe she left until April. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so I will say, like, we did discuss, like in that first video I did, the concept of connecting awareness to sales. Did this strategy definitely generate awareness? Did it lead to long-term sales and brand loyalty for her client? That I don't know. But so that would be the only thing that I would really question about the way in which she did her strategy. However, was it effective for awareness? Hell yes. And based on conversion rates, are they going to actually be able to convert enough of those awareness into sales? Definitely. They have a good enough sales system. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So Number 4, what is something you wish role managers did to prevent junior content creators from feeling exploited? Answer. I think the best way to avoid exploiting a creator is to ask what their goals are. Do your absolute best to support their stated goals, and then allow the creator to take ownership of the work they achieve, even if you played a part in making that happen. Creators see content as a creative extension of themselves, even if it's just for a company, and role managers fail to recognize that. Just as you let an illustrator take credit for something they drew, the same should go for content. Some role managers support the goals, but fall flat when it comes time for ownership. Other times, they don't support their goals to begin with. So, I can see what she means. The advice I'd give to her is, in business, it's very common for people to be used to different aspects of these things normalized in contracts, and so they just may not be thinking of the vernacular or paying attention to what is the correct way to order what they want from you. So then you, as a service provider, have to tell them this is how to place that order to get that result sometimes. And what I mean is, like, with the credit, for example. And for me, if I give credit for my, if I ask people to keep a watermark or make sure I give credit, then I give a discount. However, if they don't, for situations where I'm not going to get any credit for my work, then that's more money. That's how I handle that. Now, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to work in a situation in which you don't get credit, you don't have to take that gig. But the way I approach it is I just charge more money for people who don't give me credit. And for people who, you know what I'm saying, who do give me credit, you get like that small percentage of the discount. And the reason being is marketing expenses. That's how I justify that. If you're allowing me to market myself through the content we produce together, then that's going to be, you know, if you're keeping my name on it, that's advertising for me. So that's where that fee comes in, you know. So things like that is how you can, as a marketer, work in front with your negotiation what you want in advance. I can understand when you get locked into something, um, and then you realize, oh shit, I am in a deal where I'm working and it's not working out for me. What do you do there? So then you have to either attempt to renegotiate or leave. I get that. But learning from these experiences so you can maintain and have long-term sustainability with your clients going forward is putting these things into your deal agreement at the point of closing the deal or onboarding. So, number 4, what is something you wish role managers did to prevent junior content creators from feeling exploited? I think the best way to avoid exploiting a creator is to ask what their goals are. Do your absolute best to support their stated goals, and then allow the creator to take ownership of the work they achieved, even if you played a part in making that happen. Creators see content as a creative extension of themselves, even if it's for a company. And role managers fail to recognize. Well, wait, am I reading the same thing? I am. I'm so sorry. Number 5, what does that practicality look like? If a creator says it's hard to make XYZ content because their phone doesn't have enough storage, buy them more storage. If they need access to a certain software for editing, buy the software or look for a good alternative. If the creator expresses that there are certain time constraints that are hindering them, help them figure out a schedule that allows for the content to be made. And once you've empowered them to do their job at the highest level possible, allow the creator to take ownership of their wins. Well, it says they're W's, but I'm assuming that's wins. So for this one, I will just say, second, I think it depends on the work agreement. So if you're a contract worker or if you're your own business, it's not actually common to expect your clients to provide all of the resources. Typically you do. Uh, but if depending on the agreement, some work for hire, if work contract agreements, if they're work for hire and everything's under the client's name, then they would provide everything typically, right? But that's typically worked out in advance. Um, and so if you don't have the supplies, you know what I'm saying, or you know you don't have the resources to go get these specific supplies, that's what you need to be upfront about with the client in advance. And then if they don't provide you what you need, it's totally on them. But that's a solution to this issue if you didn't do that before. That's how you nip it in the bud before it occurs. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, number 6, describe the perfect boss for a brand content creator. She said, the perfect boss for me is the boss I currently have. His name is Bello, and he owns Bello's Film Labs here in Miami. He hired me after seeing my work on Dr. Miami's page, and the first thing he told me was, I want you to do what you do best, which is make content. He doesn't micromanage or demand a set schedule for the days that I need to be in the store creating content. Our agreement is that I will create 15 videos a month for him, and he does not care how that comes to be, just that it happens. He trusts me, and I trust him. If I tell him I need to take stock for a segment, he tells me to take it. If I tell him I need to fly to Atlanta to make content in the Atlanta store, he books my ticket. If I tell him I'm trying a new style of content for the account, he lets me try it. When he has input, he gives it to me and waits for my feedback. It's a two-way street. It seems so simple, but you'd be surprised how many brands fail to take care of their social team. But even more so, as a full-time cinematographer, Bello understands that the more barriers you put on the creative process, the more likely the outcome of the content would not be engaging or viral. He gets it because he knows how to create too. He hired me for a reason, and his actions reflect that. Yeah, I could see what you mean with that. And I'm wondering if this is also her admitting the issues of why she left Dr. Bello here. I mean, not Dr. Bello, Dr. Miami. For Bello. You know what I'm saying? Like, where she talks about what she likes about Bello. I wonder, is that what she didn't like about Dr. Miami? I don't know. I'm not speaking for her. I'm just questioning. Okay, okay. Um, we got two more questions here. Next question. What made you decide it was time to leave Dr. Miami? How did the internet react? Her response. The reasons and timing of my leaving have been purposefully undisclosed. But I will say, several people have made videos about their theories, and several theories are correct. The internet reaction was not something I could have predicted, and it was anxiety inducing for sure. You never know how people are going to react when a duo splits up. But I think I can confidently say now that the internet was very kind and understanding towards me, which is not typically the nature of the internet. In the 72 hours following my departure from Dr. Miami, I must have seen upwards of 30 videos discussing my leaving, and most of these videos got millions of views. That's the impact of content creators for brands in this day and age. I can understand what you mean because we live in an attention-based economy, and so whenever you're garnering so much a certain amount of attention, other people anchor onto that in order to attract some of your attention to them. You know what I'm saying? So because you're trending, other people are talking about you because you're a trending topic and they want to stay in the algorithm. I think the Santina success is a fascinating case study for understanding what could be productive for other businesses and understanding what works and what doesn't, so we can all learn from this and grow as businesses, right? And I have seen others take that type of approach to it too, and I like that, right? But then the other people, as we've covered in yesterday's segment, they're just fucking bitching and shit talking for no fucking reason. Like, what the fuck, man? All right. So, number 8. So, what are you up to now? How are you making sure you feel empowered to create and are making sure others in your position feel the same? She says, now I'm in the process of creating my own social media marketing agency. Oh, good, 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 good. That's what I was hoping she would do. And it says the idea is to onboard talented content creators, typically those with their own small following, and match them to brands that are looking for fresh content for their accounts. So far, I have 2 clients and 2 wonderful creators. I plan on talking about the whole journey on my own TikTok account, but I've been quiet up until now because I don't want to jinx anything. Knock on wood. My goal with this agency is to create an environment where creators are solely tasked with making the best content they can and don't have to worry about anything else. My role is to make sure that my creators are fairly compensated, treated respectfully, and get credit for their work. As someone who knows what goes into creating viral content, I want to empower content creators and prevent them from feeling exploited. I love that, and I hope that it's successful. I really see her doing very well. After talking back and forth with Santina, it became abundantly clear to me that the main things she was emphasizing were creative freedom, trust, and ownership. All things are basic tenets of respect that most teams in a company don't have to beg for. The key to being a successful brand on TikTok is being an early adopter of these 3 qualities, more so than hiring the best talent or pumping money into mediocre creative. The sooner a brand's leadership stops seeing content as silly goofy, but rather an actual driver of business results, the better off they'll be. Boom. I love this. That is beautiful. And this is from Zaria. She's a senior global social media manager at Duolingo. And we know how good Duolingo social media is. Me gusta Duolingo, pero mi español es mierda. Lo siento. Okay. So now I want to talk about why I think this is a great time for Santina to start a business, and I want to connect that for everybody to consider when to start a business. So let's see here. Basically, I like what this post says. It's from startupgrind.com. It's linked in the description of the video. Everything is linked. And it's basically saying there's no fucking good time to start a business. It's just like having a kid. There is no good time. That shit gonna fuck you up no matter when you do it, right? You can try, but anyway. So there's only so much you. So you just have to basically, they have some pointers about timing and starting a business, based on past founders, right? So they say when you have a jumping off point for your customers, and because she has so much followers, that's why I feel this applies. Some people say as soon as possible. And by that, I could say, sooner is better than later. Like, if you just got to get started. Some people will spend so long waiting for the right time, they never do it, and they could have done it. So, if you've always wanted to, but you never have, and you can, then do it, right? So, when you've honed in on the best idea, so some people, they want to start a business, but they don't know what to do. Don't start a business just to start a business. You have to know what it is you want to offer. Otherwise, if you're trying to build a business just to build a business, in my opinion, you're not going to be connected to it, and it has a higher chance of not being successful. Um, so yeah, when you feel comfortably internally. I do feel agree on a certain level. You can't be forced into a business you're uncomfortable with, so comfortability does matter. But I will say I kind of disagree with that because you're never, in my opinion, unless you're rich and you got a lot of resources or an angel investor, there's never going to be a time where you're like, yeah, I'm comfortable now to take this risk. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's going to be a stressful endeavor, not a comfortable one, no matter what you do. And if it's a comfortable endeavor, you must be rich as shit or privileged or what the fuck. Or do you have something in your brain where you don't feel stressed? Maybe I'm being ableist on that, but that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, okay, when you set a date, planning is important. So you need to plan for a lack of income and for not having a business, and that can depend. So like, if you are doing something like Santina or I with marketing or service-based businesses where we don't have to have investment into brick and mortar, um, or physical items in order to get started, we may have to invest in our websites or tools to do our job, but we don't have to have these major investments. Then you might only need 3 to 6 months of planned income, generated, whether that be you're going to bootstrap or whether that be you somehow are lucky enough to um, have that money saved up or available somehow. Lucky you. You need to expect at least 6 months of no income because it's going to take that to begin generating leads, right? Um, but if you're investing in a brick and mortar location, such as, for example, a restaurant or a music venue, that can take years to become profitable. Okay? So you really gotta, depending on what you're doing, that's gonna greatly change. Um, Generated buzz. If you have generated buzz, it can be a great time to launch your business while you have that interest. Because the hardest part of building a business is generating interest. So when you have interest, that right there will get you over some of the biggest hurdles you're going to have in business, right? And so that's why I feel Santina at this point in her life, leveraging the audience she has to focus on building on her own business. Yes, bitch, this is the time to do it. Go. I believe in you. I hope she succeeds, right? That's how I feel. When you've made some early sales, and again, Santina fits that. She's fresh out of college getting clients. Hell yeah, that's amazing. When people are telling you you're ready, I'm here telling you you're ready, bitch. Anyway, so that's me screaming at Santina, who's probably not watching this shit, and I'm fucking weird, but whatever. Uh, so it's kind of like now I understand my dad screaming at football players. Anyway, and this other article from SBA.gov has 10 steps also about starting your business, and they discuss conducting market research. And I really think, having an understanding of the market available to you and understanding their interests or demographics and all of that. But with the way Santina has built her business, but on trends, but not only on trends, it's also on her personality. I think her market research is understanding herself, because the more she understands herself, she's going to align her marketing with the idea of a buyer persona for a buyer journey that's in alignment with her values. You know what I'm saying? So, writing your business plan, it seems like she's got one. I mean, basically, that interview was one. You could turn that interview into a business plan. You know what I mean? It seems like she's on that. Funding your business, I believe that that is the hardest part for everybody with income disparity. And under capitalism, everybody's like bootstrap, deep, 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 and it's not that easy. Like you're going to lose your fucking mind trying to bootstrap a goddamn business. It can be done. I did it, but am I mentally stable? At what cost? Okay, at what fucking cost? All right, you will lose your fucking mind. Pick your business location. I recommend. I think even if you want to expand to some type of brick and mortar thing, if you need to get started, finding a way to get into your industry remote can be a good way to get started in a cost-effective way to then grow into your physical manifestation of your business venture. You know what I'm saying? And that aligns with number 5, choosing a business structure, kind of, but also their business structure means whether or not you're going to be a sole proprietor, LLC, LLP, or a corporation. We're not going to worry about corporations right now because we're not, if you're watching this, I highly doubt you're a big business. People who are building a big business with a corporation likely don't need to uh, understand how to start up a business because if you're well or if you're starting up a business and you do want to get to a corporation, you need to understand starting up a business before you incorporate down the road anyway, typically, in my opinion, unless you're already at a level where you can afford to incorporate, in which case you're skipping over the small business development section, so you can go straight to um, you know what I mean? You pass go, you go straight to big business right there. But when we're talking small business here, a lot of people think they need to be able to get to an LLC before they can get started. While it will legally protect you more to have an LLC over a sole proprietorship, if you're not there yet, you don't need to be an LLC to get started as a sole proprietor if you want to. Now, it may not be best for you because you might need that legal liability protection. So maybe being a sole proprietor isn't the best for you. But in a lot of cases, I think it's better to get started as a sole proprietor and then incorporate into an LLC later if that's what you want to do than to not have gotten started at all or to wait too long to where it's harder for you to start later if you can get started now. But maybe that is bad advice for you. I don't know. This is just very general. And then, if you are doing business with somebody, I do recommend putting that effort in to become a limited liability partnership at least, because, or a corporation, depending on what you want to do. Uh, and the difference there is the tax structure, and you can look into seeing what's best for you. But that will protect you when it comes to being liable for anything that your partner could be doing that you don't have control over. I do recommend that you do not do business with other people without creating that business structure. But if you're on your own, if you fuck, you might fuck yourself over either way. You know what I mean? So yeah. Um, and then regarding registering your business name, it's just that legal and brand protection, highly important. And that's what you can be doing to get started. Uh, Getting federal and state tax IDs. And if you are not incorporated, then you can use your social security for that. If you're doing business as a sole proprietorship, if you don't have a partnership or some type of incorporation. And you got to make sure, paying attention to your industry licensing and permits. A lot of people, like they'll be like, I've had people start coffee shops and then try to turn it into a music venue without the licensing and permits to have musicians perform, and it backfired. Things like that. And having a business bank account, particularly if you're creating a business structure for a limited liability corporation, you have to keep your business finances separate from your personal, or it's known as piercing the corporate veil. And then you're no longer not liable because you commingled the assets, if that makes sense. So yeah, fucking, all that to say, I believe, it's a great time, like we've discussed. when and how to start your business, and I think like these concepts that apply to general people very much apply to, we can look at Santina's situation as a case study for how general people can apply her situation to themselves, or general starting business concepts to themselves, looking at how other people have done so, like as a roadmap for what we could do or not do to like do well in the future. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's kind of what I reflect on now with the user experience and value alignment in general, connecting the Santina situation to the long ass situation we were looking at earlier today with the concept of should water be given for free? You know what I'm saying? Um, that one, it really does to me provide insight on user experience and providing a service to people, providing an experience for people, helping people with their journey, and considering what is your role in the journey of other people. What is our role as community members? How do we look after each other? How do we support each other? I think this is all like a really good reflection on that. And how can we build long-term sustainability together? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to look at all of this as a reflection on, and how I think it connects. So yeah, if you've been watching all of this, it means a lot. It went way, this is 3 times longer than I meant for it to be. I didn't intend to spend so long on the water situation. I was just like, yeah, I'm reading all of this manically is kind of what I did. And at the end there, like, that dude's like, I might delete this shit. I'm like, oh, yep, we're covering all of it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what happened with me in my head. So yeah, fucking. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this bitch up because it's been long enough. I just feel like it's interesting to reflect on how people view businesses, how people view hospitality, and how people view the dynamic between paid labor and treating people. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all very interesting when we talk about exploitation of labor and the connection of all of that, and how it's a reflection of capitalism, imperialism, etc. It's all connected in my opinion. So yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeathchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.